Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Become the Strongest Being in Multiverse Season 1 Part 8. Before we start, please go support John 354 for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Issei is a male in this story. Chapter 146. The leaders were shocked by what they saw. Since there was Ria's head and Sona without a leg. Seraphil got up from her seat and went to see her sister. She quickly gave him a phoenix tear, which to her surprise didn't work. Seraphil. Because it doesn't work. Sona. He did something. Ajuka. What happened there? Sona, remembering what happened, started to shake and no one knew what to say since it was the first time they had looked at her like that. Surzich. Sona, tell me that's not a joke. Sona. He is a monster. Nobody could hurt him. Zeus. What race does he belong to that he has that power? Sona. He is a human. Everyone widened their eyes upon hearing that. Someone was going to say something, but Sona gave something to Seraphil. And it was a hologram, and that everyone could see the massacre that Issei did and how he killed Rias in the worst way. Surzich and his parents clenched their fists because they were so upset. Michael was about to say something, but they heard a scream, and that was Sona. Seraphil. What's wrong with you? Sona. It hurts. Something is burning inside me, help me Nisama, I don't want to die. Seraphil didn't know what to do. He was going to take her in her arms, but he saw how part of Sona's body fell off and how she screamed in pain. Until after a few minutes he no longer knew any trace of her. Auden. What was that? What did that boy do to him? Surzich. From what I saw. That boy has the power to manipulate poison. Shiva. What will we do? Izanagi. It's not obvious, we have to hunt it down. Let them look for it everywhere. Surzich. Graphia sends all the soldiers to look for him. I want him alive, I will make him suffer with my own hands. She said it was annoying. Meanwhile Issei was flying with her spirit bone wings. Issei. Thanks to Amaterasu I know where to enter to be in his faction. Issei followed his flight at high speed until he reached his destination. Without wasting time he fell into the middle of some dens. They were going to say something, but Issei cut off all of their heads since they didn't have time to fight. He continued on his way. As he did so he came across several hideouts that he killed without much difficulty. After a few minutes he arrived at the main castle where he kicked the door, destroying it. Upon entering he saw several hideouts in front, and at the end he saw 3 people very familiar to him. Issei. Hello guys, how are you doing? Amaterasu. Lesser human, how dare you attack us? Perhaps you do not know your place as simple cattle. Issei. It really hurts that you tell me that. Latsu. Silence. How dare you speak like that to one of my women? Issei. This will be a long day. Taking attack position. Issei. No one leaves here alive. Going on the attack, killing many guards with just his fists. The goddesses seeing this were surprised as he killed their elite layers as if it were nothing. After 5 minutes Issei had already finished without having any scratches. Tsukiyomi. You are not a simple human. Where did you get that strength from? Since no human can possess any sacred gear. Issei. Train is the most I can tell you. You know this will hurt me more than it will hurt you. Taking a step forward. Seconds later he was in front of Latsu where he grabbed him by the neck and ripped off his head. Benzaten. You are a monster. How could you do that to my beloved? I hate you. Even though Issei had a calm face on the inside, he was suffering when hearing those words. At that he turns her gaze to Benzaten and she saw those empty eyes of Issei. Without being able to say anything, Issei approached her and cut off her head since it was the least he could do now. Amaterasu launched several attacks at him that Issei evaded without problems, as well as Tsukiyomi's. After a few minutes both girls were tired and had less mana since each attack they launched at Issei had a lot of power. Tsukiyomi. Because you don't fucking die. Issei. It's not my time yet. Starting to walk towards her. Seeing that, Tsukiyomi cast more spells, but Issei followed her path, receiving each attack squarely. After several attacks Issei was in front of her. Tsukiyomi stood still, she didn't know what to do. Issei put his hand on her cheek and caressed her. Issei. Even though you're not the Tsukiyomi I know, it hurts me to do all this. But it is a burden I must bear. Amaterasu approached Issei with sword in hand with the intention of killing him, but Issei grabbed her by the neck as did Tsukiyomi. Issei. Sorry. Squeezing her neck very tightly, they both struggled to be released, but Issei didn't even move. Issei heard her moans of pain. Issei had her eyes closed as she did not wish to see that. After a few seconds she stopped listening to some radio and opened her eyes, and they were already dead. Issei put them on the ground slowly and left the place. Just leaving the building she jumped and formed a fist. As she fell to the ground she connected her fist with the ground. Making seconds later everything was destroyed. The buildings fell, the ground began to divide. Issei for her part took out her wings and left the place. In the underworld Alaire entered without asking permission. Izanami. How dare you come in like that? It's an emergency, Izanami-sama. Our faction was destroyed. Both leaders were able to stand. Izanagi. What happened? Someone came and started attacking everyone. Before a colleague died, he informed me of what happened. Izanami. It was that human. Since no one would have the courage to attack us. Azazel. But how could he wipe out an entire faction? What kind of power does it have? And where she got it from? Auden. Call all your lairs and be on alert. That boy will go to another faction. Azazel. Vali, you and your team go look for him and you know what to do. Ali. It won't be a big deal. He saw his partner and he just nodded and opened a dimensional gap. Issei for her part was sitting on a hill. Processing everything that had happened. Issei. I don't know if he can do this. But if I don't do this I won't be able to leave in peace. He was there for 2 hours watching the sky with few stars. Behind him a dimensional gap appeared. Issei didn't even turn around since he knew very well who they were. Issei. They were already late coming. Ali. Know your place. At that Issei got up from his seat and turned around and saw 2 other people. Issei. Lefei and Kuroka. I would say I'm glad to see you, but the feeling is not mutual. Lefei. How do you know us? Issei. I know some things. But I have a question. Where is Office? Kuroka. She's dead. We injected her with a lot of poison until she died. It was a large amount, plus it cost her a little since she defended herself. Issei. I see. You know I have things to do, so well, let's finish this. Bali didn't say anything and activated his armor and went to attack. Moving at a high speed and appearing behind Issei. When he was about to hit him, Issei turned around and hit him in the face, destroying his helmet and some of his teeth. His classmates were surprised by Issei's speed. Issei. Just as predictable. At that point he took a Biku cane in his hand and squeezed it very hard until he destroyed it. Then he kicked him, sending him flying away from there. Kuroka and Lefei created several spells that Issei evaded. Lefei. Because you are so strong and fast. Issei. I trained from a very young age. Bound to be strong to protect a witch I met at that time. Lefei was going to say something, but Issei took out his katana and cut off his head along with the rest, leaving Vali alone. Issei didn't want to prolong the fight, he felt bad seeing them. Vali. You. I'll kill you. Entering the Juggernaut drive and going on the attack. Issei just jumped and punched him in the chest, causing a hole to open in his chest and destroying everything behind Vali. Seconds later Vali returned to his dead form. Issei saw a silver light come out and took it in his hands. Issei. Albion, long time without speaking. Albion. Who are you? Why are you doing this? Issei. The answer is obvious, no. This world is rotten and has no salvation. And my duty is to stop this. Albion. There are millions against you alone, you won't be able to beat them. Issei. It doesn't matter, I have time. But you're not going anywhere. Albion. You can't kill me, I don't have a body. I'm just a soul. Issei. I met many people on my travels and learned many things. Although I don't like to use them. Squeezing the sphere. Albion screamed in pain until Issei killed him. At the end Issei left the bodies of the group and continued on his way. Chapter 147. Time had more specifically passed 10 months where Issei had gone to various factions and exterminated them without any mercy. Since every time he went to one he saw only disaster and things that looted him. The leaders looked everywhere for Issei but never found him, since whenever they arrived at the faction they only saw rubble everywhere. At the end of the destruction of each faction, Issei went to a mountain to cry, since it pained him to kill his loved ones with his own hands. At that time Issei not sleeping was not necessary, since thanks to the cultivation he did previously it was not necessary. He early ate. Issei also killed humans since he saw them as hopeless cases and had no salvation. Right now Issei was in the forest while he had a pamphlet that would transport her to Asgard. Issei. Thanks to Roswus I will be able to go to that place. I hope I can. Putting some of his blood on the pamphlet and being teleported away. Just by appearing, alarm sounded and many hideouts surrounded Issei. Auden. You finally show your face, brat. Issei. Long time without seeing you, old man. How is the family? Auden. You're acting funny, no. Your adventure ends here. You will be punished with a lot of pain. Issei. That will be impossible. He looked to the sides and saw Roswus ready to attack, and later he saw Astrid next to Thor. Issei. Roswus and Astrid. It has been almost 3 years since I have seen their faces. Astrid. How dare you talk to me like that, human? Issei. It hurts me that you tell me that, you know. But hey, it doesn't matter anymore. Long time no see, Thor, so today will be that day of revenge. You know it will be the 3rd time I fight you. Thor had a serious face. At that he took the hammer from him and threw it at Issei. When he was about to give it, Issei took it with his hand and began to squeeze it until he destroyed it. Everyone was surprised as they destroyed one of the most powerful weapons that exist. Auden. Where did you get so much power from? Issei. I've heard those words many times and I'm tired of hearing them. We finish this. Then I have to go to heaven or Grigori or the underworld. Odin said nothing and commanded the layers. Issei didn't have time to fight, so he launched a hydra poison a great distance, sending hundreds of soldiers. The gods and heroes managed to leave the place. Then Issei made the poison cloud disappear and there were many bodies on the ground. Someone was about to speak, but Issei gave a big applause. It caused the air to be compressed and everything in its path was destroyed, just leaving a huge mess in his wake. The gods and heroes could not believe what had happened. Issei gave a big stomp on the ground which caused the ground to crack and start to shake, causing many buildings to fall to the ground. Odin. Damn it. You are destroying everything. Issei. It's not obvious that's the idea. Odin sent everyone to attack. Issei took out his katana and stopped several attacks. Minutes passed and some gods were dead and others injured. Issei only had some minor injuries. Or. We can heal our wounds but your non-human inference. Issei. Seriously. At that Issei healed all of his wounds in an instant, leaving everyone present surprised. Issei. You said. Roswis. Odin-sama, what do we do? You have not given the order to call for reinforcements. Odin was about to say something, but Issei beat him to it. Issei. You know I'll give them some time. Go to the rest of the leaders and tell them that in 2 days we will meet in the underworld. It's time to end all this. I have to go back to my house. He was about to leave, but someone spoke to him. Astrid. Who are you and why are you doing this? Issei. It's not obvious, you destroyed everything, you enslaved innocent people, making them addicted to being tortured. This world no longer has salvation. And to the above before I decided to call Haidu Issei. Everyone's eyes widened when they heard that name. Odin. You're not kidding. There was only one Haidu Issei, and now he is dead. Issei. That's how things are. I am his pain, his sadness and his dreams. See you in 2 days. Teleport from the place. Hours later all the leaders were in the underworld where Odin told them everything. Azazel. He must be lying. There can't be 2 of him. Surzich. That doesn't matter right now. What matters is that he himself will come at his death. Call all your soldiers and bring them in. Also bring the slaves, they will serve as shields at least. Izanagi. We have to make him suffer. I kill everyone I know. Zeus. Also mine. If they had not called me on that occasion, that human would be dead right now. Odin. You are no match for him. Zeus. So weak to believe me. Odin. It's not that. That boy is a monster with a lot of power. Not even we, who were thousands, could against him. Azazel. When we capture him I'll see what kind of power he had. And so make it ours. Odin. Besides, that boy knows a lot about us. He knows us all very well. Michael. He seems hidden and trained for this moment. Surzich. His luck ends here. He will not be able against millions of soldiers and us. We also have the most powerful beings like Great Red and Shiva on our side. Shiva. On my side there are many strong beings too. Like Indra. In addition, all of us here possess a little of the power of Trixa. Isaka. I hope this ends soon so I can get back to my routine. At that moment a magic circle appeared coming out of Issei. When everyone saw him, they stood up and were ready to attack. Issei. They won't be able to do anything to me, I'm just a clone. Surzich. I'll book and kill you. Launching his power of destruction hitting Issei in the chest. But in seconds he regenerated. Issei. How quickly you let yourself be guided, Surzich. From what I see everyone is planning the battle. Zeus. I'll book and kill you. You killed my family. Issei. Believe it or not, it hurts me to do that too. He looked to the sides and noticed Penemu and Seraphol and Yusaka. Issei. Hey Yusaka, where is Kunu? Yusaka. Why do you ask? Issei. I'm curious just that. Today I just came to talk a little. Yusaka. Then screw you, I won't tell you anything. Issei. Wow, you don't look anything like the one I know. But well, leaving that aside. I just came to talk a little, but it's impossible to do so. See you in 2 days. Disappearing from the place. Seraphol. What was all that? He looked confident. Azazel. Leave it. This is how the weak act when they think they are a big deal just for killing some people. They were planning for a long time. Meanwhile Issei was on a hill watching the sunset. Issei. I've been here almost a year now. Long time without seeing the girls and my daughter. I miss them. But I should have ended this even though it will be painful for me. He let out a sigh and sat back to watch the stars and think about what to do. Chapter 148. Issei was in an abandoned restaurant while he had a slice of cake next to him. Issei. Not things. Tomorrow I have a big battle and I'm here celebrating my birthday. It's weird doing it alone. Letting out a light laugh. Issei. I'll be back soon girls and daughter. Blowing out the candle and eating the cake. Issei. It's not bad and I did it, ha 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 ha. At the end of eating she left the place and walked a little through the streets alone since there was no one there and that seemed strange to her at first, but then she stopped caring about it. The next day Issei was looking at the pamphlet to be teleported to the underworld. Issei. I'll be back soon. activating the magic circle and appearing in a desert. At that point he started walking and in the distance I saw thousands of soldiers. Many dragons flying and several ships floating. Issei. It will be a long battle. I hope that this sword that Issei gave me can endure. While she held her. Meanwhile the leaders were at the head of the great army. Surzich. He may seem weak but don't underestimate him, that human is not common. Azazel. I want him alive. Big Red. Me is enough. Taking his human form. Issei. It's the first time I've seen you, Big Red, it's a pleasure. Big Red. Just assume you're dead, human. Issei didn't say anything and started walking towards the enemy since he wanted to end all of that. That's what the leaders sent their soldiers. There are thousands of them. Issei took out his sword and with several cuts he killed hundreds of them. At that moment Issei saw how a large dragon began to hear fire and he just stood there. When the smoke cleared Issei was walking out without a scratch. Tannen. How come you're still alive? My fire is not normal. Issei. I know but you know that doesn't matter right now. Issei. 7th ability. True spirit form. The large form of Issei formed behind him, scaring several. Being bigger than Tannen. At that Issei's spiritual form gave a big applause, crushing Tannen and throwing him away. After that Issei's spiritual form took a big step, causing a huge tremor and causing the ground to crack and several soldiers to fall into them. Surzich. What the hell is that thing? Zeus. I don't know but it is very powerful. Issei. I have never used other skills after the 7th, it is time to use them. He took several steps until the 8th ring appeared, being dark gray. Issei. 8th ocean shock skill. Magneto Issei's spiritual form joined his two hands and seconds later two large waves appeared and were about to collide with each other. Some managed to react in time and created shields. Some used ice magic to freeze the waves, but it didn't do much good. Thousands of soldiers died in the great clash. At the end Issei decided on his spiritual form and saw the survivors. Indra. Consider being inferior for dead. Owing to the attack with great speed. Issei just let out a sigh and crouched down, punching him in the stomach, knocking the air out of him. Issei. I'll finish all this quickly. I want to see my family. At that Issei punched him in the face, killing him instantly. When he looked up he saw a great storm of fire coming towards him. Issei took out his sword and stuck it in the ground so as not to fly away. At the end Issei had all his clothes burned, leaving very little of them and several burns. Great Red. Why don't you die? I am the true dragon god. Issei. I don't care who you are. It doesn't matter if you are a god or a divine being, my duty is to put an end to all this. Standing up and launching several attacks with his sword. The supernatural being summoned several shields where the humans came out and used them as shields. Odin. Not even your own race matters to you. Issei. They left their humanity a long time ago. At that Issei turned around and grabbed someone by the neck and was surprised to know who he was. Issei. Seraphol. Seraphol. You killed my sister, I'm going to fucking kill you. Issei. I don't want to do this, but I have no choice. You made many mistakes. This will hurt me more than it hurts you. Since you were the first person I met. Seraphol. I've never seen you. And if that had been the case I would have killed you. How do you think someone like me would be with an inferior being? It hurt Issei to hear those words. So she decided to end all that. She extended her hand and pierced Seraphol's chest, taking out his heart. Then he put her on the ground and Issei looked at her hand. And she saw how she trembled because he had her with the blood of one of her loved ones. With her other hand she took her hand so she could calm down. Issei. Forgive me Seraphol. Getting up and turning around and letting out some tears. Michael. How can you cry in this situation, you damn monster? Issei. Even if you don't believe me, this hurts me too. I don't want to do this, but I have no choice. Wiping away tears. Issei. I'll go home now, I'm tired of all this. I no longer want to see my loved ones die in my hands. Seeing several of the girls there. At that Issei activated his spiritual form and the leaders and soldiers got into position since they knew of his power. Issei. I gained this ability a long time ago by fighting many gods. He raised her hand and a ring of many colors appeared. Issei. 10th end of time skill. At that moment Issei's spiritual form formed a golden armor and a golden staff was created. At that, her spiritual form gave the staff several turns and embedded it in the ground. Seconds later a large wave was created that sent everyone present flying away from the place. Then the earth began to split and lava came out of the ground. Issei was still standing there watching everything being destroyed in his path. Issei. This world must disappear. At that he saw the sky. Issei. Chichigami, I want to go home. Just after saying those words, a portal opened and Issei entered it. Coming out of the portal Chichigami saw Issei with a sad look since she saw everything he did since he arrived. Issei. I can go home. Chichigami. Yes but first. Creating a magic circle on Issei's feet arranging his clothes. Issei. Thank you. See you in another occasion. Ichigami didn't say anything and created the portal where Issei entered. When she left the portal she was in front of her door. When he opened it he walked a little until someone saw him and shouted his name, drawing everyone's attention. Quickly they were all in front of Issei. For his part, he only gave them a half smile since he missed them, but it hurt him to see them, since he himself killed most of them. At that Roswa saw how Issei's hand was shaking, and he realized it and took it with his other hand. Issei. Girls, I missed you. But the truth is I'm a little tired, I'm going to go to sleep, spend a year alone fighting. I hope you forgive me. Griselda. We'll talk later, yes. He just nodded and walked up the stairs until someone took his hand. Eri. 2-chan, can I go with you? I missed you. Liza. Me too. Issei just extended his two hands and they both took it and went up to the room. Enemu? Issei was acting very strange, wasn't he? But he happened there. Enterprise. All that remains is to ask one person. Walking to the garden and the rest followed her. At that he said the word that Issei said before. Seconds later a portal opened where everyone entered. Chapter 149. The entire group was in front of Ichigami with worried faces. Enterprise. Ichigami, tell us what happened there. Please. Serafal. Issei wasn't acting like he always did today, he looked bad. Ichigami. Issei spent a year fighting non-stop, he didn't sleep much and ate little. Ingvald. What kind of place did I send him to for him to be like this? Ichigami. To a different dimension than this one, just there. The version of him was tortured for so long, and Issei went to help him. The girls were surprised to hear that. Someone was about to say something, but Ichigami continued. Ichigami. They're sure they want to know what happened there. Brunhild. So we can help Issei. Gabriel. Please. She just nodded and showed them from Issei's arrival and how she found out what was happening. The girls were shocked to hear and see what Issei was going through. They were scared to see what situation they had the other Issei in. And how they both spoke and everyone listened to her version. Some girls felt bad hearing that story. Later they heard how Haidu asked that Issei kill him and without any other option he did so. Later they saw how Issei cried for his death and how he later fought against the Gremory group in Citri and how he killed them. The girls were a little scared seeing how Issei tortured Rias. Isaka. Issei did all that, it's hard to believe. Ichigami. I know. But he had no choice but to do it. You also heard the story. They continued watching the hologram and saw how Issei arrived at Amaterasu, Benzaiten and Tsukiyomi and how they talked a little. The three girls, upon hearing that they were with Latsu, were surprised and even more so to learn how Issei killed them. But they got upset when they saw how Issei cried for his death. They continued watching and how he continued crying. Most of them had tears coming out since it was the first time they saw Issei in that state. And they felt worse knowing that he spent his birthday alone and celebrated it alone. Roswis. Please wait. It hurts me to see all that. Bastard. How could he endure so much? I could not. Who knew? She suffered so much and still continued because she didn't come back. Ichigami. I was going to bring him, but before leaving he said that this time he would call me so I had to wait. He continued with the hologram and they all saw the final battle and how he killed the entire army on his behalf. And how he killed Serafal and cried a lot. Seeing that, she felt bad for Issei since he went through a lot. That's when they heard Issei's last words and how he activated his last ability. Kian Renksu was very surprised to see that technique. And with that he finished everything. Ichigami. That last attack Issei caused the planet to explode, destroying everything. In addition to the wave he made, he destroyed 3 more planets in his path. Claire. That technique I use is so strong that it will cause that. Serafal. That doesn't matter right now. What matters is helping Issei to be well. Prince. You're right. I want to see it as always. The office. Let's go back home. Ichigami. I would like to go with you to help, but I can't leave my post. Enemu. Still thank you. Ichigami just nodded and created the portal where all the girls appeared in the garden. At that point they entered and went to Issei's room and when they opened the door they saw him sleeping next to the 2 girls. While he had them hugged. They were about to close the door but they heard Issei speak. Issei. Girls, forgive me. They noticed how a tear came out of Issei. They couldn't help but see that and closed the door so as not to disturb them. They all went down to the living room. Irina. We have to do something. Otherwise Issei will always feel guilty. Viviana. But what can we do? Rafia. Issei was away for 3 years where she only spent her time fighting. What I propose is that Issei take a long vacation away from the supernatural. Najair. And where he can go. Belfast. And if we ask Ichigami to send him to a quiet place for a while, so he relaxes. Gabriel. That's a good idea. But he must go alone so he can process everything. Enemu. I don't like the idea of her leaving alone, but it's for the best. Eride. Well, with that said, all we have to do is wait for him to wake up. They all nodded. Hours passed and it was already late. Issei woke up and noticed that only Eri was with him. He was about to get up, but she woke up. Iri. 2chan, you feel better now. Issei. Like new. As I see it is already too late. Iri. Yes it is. Let's go downstairs, dinner is done. Issei. Okay let's go. At that she took Iri in her arms and they both went down to the living room. As Issei did so, he noticed all the girls present there. Alice. How do you feel? Issei. Much better. I want to apologize for how I spoke to you this morning. Belfast. Don't worry, we already found out everything. Issei. I see. Lowering your gaze. Serafal. Issei you did the right thing. Do not blame yourself. You can. That happened there and it won't happen here. And if someone betrays you, he will know the consequences. Issei. I know that won't happen. I trust you since you are my family. Giving them a smile. At that point he extended his other arm for a hug. Little by little they all approached, making a big family hug. At the end they went to the table to have dinner. Issei. What date are we on? Aphrodite. October 28. Why you ask? Issei. I wanted to be aware. Plus I'm glad it's this day. Lefei. Because. Issei. There are only 3 days left until Halloween. You have to prepare everything in case they come trick-or-treating as well as looking for costumes. Iri. Great. You will take me for sweets too Chan. Issei. Of course, just like Liza. You will not come. Liza. Of course. Issei. Great. Tomorrow we are going to get the costumes, we have to buy them. Enterprise. You already have bread for tomorrow then. Issei. Not just me. We'll all go look for suits. Serafal. I already have one. Issei. The magical girl one. Serafal. Yes. Maybe you don't like it. Issei. Of course I like it. Hiroka. This will be exciting. At that point everyone began to discuss what to wear. Issei looked at all this with a smile since he missed that family atmosphere. The next day everyone left the house, some went in different groups to search other places. Issei went to the 2 girls and Claire to look for the suits. The day passed and at night everyone was dressed up. Issei, for his part, only put on some horns since she didn't want to wear costumes. The girls, for their part, some wore their usual but elegant clothes. Claire and Liza wore the same combat suit. Issei. They both look very good. Claire. Thank you. Liza. Ani-chan, you like the way my sister looks. Issei. She looks very pretty just like the other girls. Iri. 2chan, how am I doing? Issei. Very well my little demon. Iri. Thank you 2chan. Giving her a big smile after that Issei held out both his hands to both girls and the 3 of them went trick-or-treating. Chapter 150. A few days had passed where Issei was hanging out with all the girls since he wanted to spend time with them. It was night and the girls were sleeping and the rest were in the living room chatting and having tea. Until Serafal stood up, drawing Issei's attention. Issei. Something happened Serafal so you can get up. Serafal. You see Issei. The day you came back we all talked about it and also with Shichigami. Issei. Something bad is happening. Isaka. Issei has been fighting for a long time these days when you left you fought non-stop. You can. We want you to go on a trip and take a vacation, you deserve it. Issei. But I'm fine. Griselda. Don't be stupid Issei. It's for your good. You must also rest from fighting so much and also from what you saw these days there is no danger at all. Astrid. Go Issei. But you should be there for a while and have fun. Issei. If that's what you want, that's how it will be. Thank you very much for thinking of me. Enemu. Don't talk nonsense Issei. We always think of you. More than you believe. Who knew? We are going to take care of the girls. The office. While we are here no one will touch them. Issei. I trust you so I have no problem. And well when I leave. Tsukiyomi. Today. Issei. Wait. I haven't said goodbye to the girls yet. Gabriel we told you before. Because you think they didn't leave you all day today. Issei. So that was it. At that she stood up just like the girls who weren't standing. Issei said goodbye to each one and then called Shichigami. The portal opening. The girls saw him off with a smile that Issei reciprocated in the end. Issei. Long time no see Shichigami like you've been. Shichigami. Good and tell me how you are. Issei. Much better now. Thanks to the girls who supported me. Shichigami. I'm glad. Issei. And where you're going to send me, the girls didn't tell me. Shichigami. I really don't know. Issei. Wait what? Shichigami. But it won't be a dangerous place so I wish you luck. Giving him a smile and opening a portal where Issei was pushed by it. For his part, he couldn't say anything because of the shock. Upon exiting the portal Issei was rolling down a hill colliding with a person. As Issei stood up he looked around him and didn't notice anything strange until he helped the boy up. Issei. You're fine. I'll help you. Stretching out his hand but the person hid his hand. Don't touch me monster. Getting up and running away from the place. Issei. Wow, he's in a hurry. And now I wonder where the hell I ended up. looking at the lakes until he heard a scream, and without wasting time he went to the place. When he arrived he saw the guy attacking a pink-haired girl. Without wasting any time, Issei punched him in the face, sending him flying away. Issei after doing that approached the girl. "Issei, you feel fine?" Upon hearing a voice, she looked up and saw Issei with a worried face. "I'm fine, sniff sniff, thanks for saving me." "Issei, because that boy was attacking you. I just wanted to go look for my first friend, but he left. He was afraid of me since I'm a monster." Releasing some tears. "Issei, don't say that. You are not a monster. In my opinion, I only see a girl in front of me. I'm a vampire." "Issei, that's great. Well, I am a human." Giving him a smile. When the girl heard that, she was surprised because she was not scared, instead she told him that she was her. "You're not afraid of me. I'm a vampire, everyone runs when they know that." "Issei, you know I have met many people in my entire life. So don't worry. But first of all, I haven't introduced myself." Standing up and reaching out his hand to help the girl. She took Issei's hand. "Issei. My name is Issei, a pleasure." Stretching out her hand. "Nice to meet you, Issei. My name is Mocha Akashiya." Taking Issei's hand with a smile. "Issei. Can you tell me where I am? I'm lost." "Mocha. It's the Yokai Academy. I thought you would study here." "Issei. Not really. But why lie to you? I have nowhere to go, but I can't stay here." Starting to walk to the place where she was previously. Mocha followed him since she wanted to know what she would do. When Issei arrived he saw the boy's backpack and opened it. "Issei. Well, Mocha, it was a pleasure meeting you, but I have to go. Since I have to imagine that they don't accept humans here." "Mocha. You're right. The other monsters could attack you, but you have nowhere to go. You can stay. Plus Tsukyun left his papers here and you could say he stole them from you." "Issei. That's a good idea. So if so, please guide me to the principal's office." "Mocha. Okay. I will help you with whatever I can so that no one knows that you are human." "Issei. I appreciate it, you are a great person, Akashiya-san." "Mocha. Just call me Mocha. I hope we can be friends." She said it very shyly. Issei just smiled when he heard that. "Issei. Of course, Mocha. I want to be friends since you are the first person I have met." Mocha was happy when she heard that and gave Issei a hug, which he reciprocated. "Mocha. You are my first friend. Besides, you're not afraid of me." "Issei. I will never be afraid of you. How about we go?" She broke away from the hug and took Issei by the arm and guided him to the academy. "Issei. Tell me, Mocha. If you are a vampire you should drink blood, no. Matcha. I drink tomato juice and other things. At the beginning I accidentally bumped into Tsukyun and well I got that human smell and I bit him and took some of his blood. We talked a little and I thought we would be friends, but he rejected me and called me a monster." "Issei. That's already in the past, don't take it seriously." "Mocha. Issei, if you are human, why can't I detect your scent? On the other hand, you feel many and they are unknown." "Issei. I really don't know. But I'll tell you one thing before you do something by mistake." "Mocha. Tell me." "Issei. If you want some of my blood, tell me. This is how I prepare myself since, well, if you take it away from me without asking, you could die." "Mocha. What do you mean?" "Issei. My blood is poison. But I can control it, that's why I'm telling you." "Mocha. Thank you. But because you tell me that you could keep it a secret and see if I don't attack you." "Issei. I trust you, Mocha. You are a nice girl even though we barely know each other. I like you and I will help you with whatever I can." Mocha was glad to hear that and stopped her pace. "Mocha. Thank you for showing up today, Issei. My day started badly, but everything changed when I met you." "Issei. No problem. Mocha. I can taste some of your blood." She said it with great sadness. Issei laughed a little when he saw how red she was from grief. "Issei. Sure, come." Extending her arms. Mocha without wasting time threw herself on top of Issei and bit his neck. After a few seconds she pulled away. "Matcha. It's the most delicious thing I've ever tried. Although my fangs hurt a little, you have very tough skin." "Issei. I see. Okay, let's go." "Mocha. You're not tired. The truth takes a lot away from you." "Issei. I'm fine. It's already late, we have things to do." Mocha took Issei's arm again and they continued on their way. Chapter 151. Issei and Mocha walked through the academy, attracting a lot of attention from the girls, since Issei was very handsome for them. Upon arrival they entered the office and explained everything. "Director. I see. I feel for you, boy." Issei. "Okay, it's over and I was able to get my papers back, I hope it's not a problem." Director. "Of course not. Tomorrow you can start. For now, go rest and show up tomorrow." Issei just nodded and together with Mocha they left the office. Issei. Everything went well. Mocha. Yes, I'm happy about that. I'll take you to your bedroom and tomorrow I'll pick you up to take you to the living room. Issei. Don't worry, I'll see how I fix it. Mocha. No, I won't. Outing. Issei just smiled and nodded at the end. That's when they arrived at the bedroom and Issei went to the bedroom and lay down on the bed. Issei. This place is not bad. Furthermore, I have not studied for 8 years. I can distract myself a little. Thanks for everything, girls. Closing his eyes and falling asleep. The next day Issei left the room heading to the academy. Issei. It's very early. Letting out a yawn. At that point I hear some whispers, but I don't pay much attention to it. At that point someone gave him a hug from behind. Issei. Something's wrong, Mocha. Mocha. I told you to wait for me. Because you left. Issei. Sorry, I forgot. Mocha. You're nervous about this day. Don't worry. Issei. Nothing like that, otherwise I'm excited. Mocha just smiled and took Issei's hand, leading them to the living room. Upon arrival Issei introduced himself. What kind of monster are you? I can't detect your smell. Issei. I would say a unique monster. Several whispered as if to say smug. Unique, because. Issei. If someone touches or drinks my blood by mistake, they die. I have a powerful poison in my body. Most were surprised to hear that, but others were not. You're crazy, are not you? Issei just denied and cut himself a little, causing a drop of blood to fall on the ground. Seconds after him he made a big hole. Issei. How are you? No one knew what to say as they were shocked by what they saw. Mocha was happy since this way no one could get suspicious. At that Issei took a seat near her and thus starting the class. For his part, Issei was falling asleep since he found classes boring. At break time Issei was walking through the hallways alone since Mocha had something to do. Issei. For a monster academy, it looks like a normal academy, I expected more things. Coming out of the building and bumping into a girl. Issei. Sorry, I didn't realize. Reaching out her hand and helping the girl up. Alright. You're the new student. Issei. That's right. My name is Issei. I am Kurumo Kurono. Issei. My pleasure. Well, I have to go, have a good day. Kurono. Wait. Tell me, Issei, do you want to be my friend? Giving him a smile. Issei. Sure, why not? It's great to have more friends. Well, let's talk later, I have to see someone. Returning to his path. Kurono. How is it possible that my charm didn't work? What kind of monster are you, Issei, that it wouldn't affect you? Leaving the place and planning what to do. After walking a bit he found her. Mocha. Issei, what were you talking about with Kurumo-san? Issei. He wanted me to be his friend. Mocha. I have a bad feeling about her, be careful, yes. Issei. Don't worry, nothing bad will happen. Mocha just nodded and took Issei's arm and left the place. For the rest of the afternoon Kurono continued trying to charm Issei, but to no avail. He continued acting as if nothing had happened. She got upset and grabbed Issei by the neck and took him to the forest. Seeing that, Mocha followed them since she didn't like all that. Issei. Hey, what's wrong with you? Kurono. That's what I'm telling you. Because my charm doesn't work. Issei. So that's why. Kurono. That's why you act so calm. And because my powers don't work. Issei. The answer is easy. You can make my brain say I love you, but you can't play with my heart. So I can't fall for your charm. Kurono. So that's it. You're someone strange. Issei. They tell me that very often. If that's all I can go. Kurono. You're the first person who does not fall for my charms, so it is not necessary for you to stay alive. Lengthening his nails and going on the attack. Issei, for his part, stood there doing nothing. When Mocha arrived she saw how Issei was going to be killed and gave a loud scream. Hearing her, Issei stopped Kurono's hand before she touched him and turned around. Issei. Mocha, something's wrong with you. Mocha. I thought she was going to do something to you, I was afraid. Issei. Nothing like that will happen. Giving Kurono a slight push that sent her flying a little away from her. At that Issei approached Mocha and gave her a smile. At that, Kurono, annoyed, got up and went to attack. Seeing that, Mocha pushed Issei. As I did so, Issei mistakenly took the necklace from her. Making Matcha will transform. At that, without wasting time, she kicked Kurono, sending her flying away from her, colliding with several trees. At that she turned around and saw Issei with a serious face. Issei. Hey, change that look, it's cold. Mocha. So you're Issei. I can finally see you. Approaching Issei. Mocha. You will live only because your blood is good. Issei. It hurts me that you tell me that. You only love me for that. Mocha. Stop acting like a clown. Issei. I just want to change the environment, you're very serious. Mocha. Because you act so childish. Because you don't defend yourself. Don't waste my time. Issei. Well, my friend Mocha pushed me, I had no intention of getting away from her. Since she didn't want him to get hurt. Mocha. You're pathetic, maybe you don't know how to defend yourself. Issei. You know I came to this academy to avoid fighting. Since that's what some people wanted, so I won't fight for now. Mocha. Fight me. So you don't talk nonsense. Issei. No thanks. At that Mocha wanted to kick Issei, but his hand stopped her. Surprising Mocha as she kicked big. At that Issei lets go of her and she falls to the ground. Looking up she saw Issei with a serious face. Issei crouched down and she could see his bright green eyes. For the first time in her life Mocha was afraid of someone, but she fought not to show it. From one moment to the next Issei changed from her giving her a smile. Issei. You have a very serious attitude, you remind me of some people. I hope we can be friends Mocha too. Mocha? You don't call me that. We are just one person. Issei. Next time, think about a name. It's strange to call two different people by the same name. Mocha. You're weird. Issei. I appreciate it. Mocha. It's not a compliment. Issei. I know. She was going to answer, but Issei put the cross in its place and the old Mocha returned. After that she explained everything to him and Issei just nodded at everything. Afterwards they went to see Kurono and talked for a while until finally she also joined the group. It was already late and Issei and Mocha were walking down the street to the bedroom. Issei. It was a long day. Mocha. Yes it is and I'm a little hungry. Issei could you? Issei. Sure come. She just smiled and hugged Issei, drinking her blood. When they finished, they continued on their way until they separated and went to rest. Chapter 152. The leaders were in a meeting until someone asked. Azazel. Hey, it's been 4 days and it's strange that Issei isn't here for a mission. Serafal. Issei is on vacation. Azazel. And you didn't go with him. Serafal. He needs to be alone. You must process many. Michael. Something bad happened to him. Serafal. Nothing bad. After that they ended the meeting and everyone went home. Serafal, for her part, left the castle heading to school to wait for the two girls. When I called, Grafia and Brunhild were there. After a few minutes both girls came out towards them. Iri. I'm happy to see them. Serafal. We will always come for you. Brunhild. Let's go home. You have homework to do. Liza. But they're boring. Brunhild. I know. Grafia. From the example. Brunhild just laughed a little and after that they all went home. When they arrived they both went up to their room to change. Isaka. I see you very thoughtful Kian Renksu. Kian Renksu. When we saw the video where Issei destroyed the planet without problems, I was intrigued by how she did it. Because she didn't tell us anything about that. Gabriel. You should know that Issei is not like those people who boast every time they gain power. Penemu. Like a certain person who was there before. Gabriel. The point is that Issei is never going to brag about her power since she rarely uses it. Griselda. Besides, he said that he will not use power that does not belong to him. Kian Renksu. But he earned all of that with his efforts. Isaka. Still. Amaterasu. That's why I love him because he prefers simple things. Claire. What makes me happy is that we will be together forever. Lefei. In the end, thanks to those skills he gained, he accidentally became immortal. Kian Renksu. Not even he knew that hahaha. Sometimes it's fun to see how he acts stupid. Alicia. He can act like that but in serious moments he can be the most analytical person there is. Irina. He is very intelligent. That's when both girls came down. Iri. Kachan. At that all the girls looked at Iri. The office. Something's wrong. Iri. When will Tuchan be back? He's boring when he's not around. Kuroka. You're right, it's boring, but we'll have to wait a while. Iri. Okay. I have a question. Tsukiyomi. Yes, which one is it? Iri. When I will have more brothers so I can go out and play with them. Wouldn't Liza One-chan be great? Liza. Of course. All the girls turned red upon hearing those words since they hadn't thought about it yet. Gabriel. All at once, his daughter. She just waits. Najir. Don't think about that for the moment, yes. Iri. Okay. We can go to the park. Roswis. They have no tasks to do. Liza. The truth is we did it at school so we have nothing to do. Aphrodite. I will take you to a good place. Najir. I'm going too. Aphrodite. Someone else wants to come. Iri. Before I go I have something to ask. Athena. And that would be. Iri. When can I meet my grandparents? That question took everyone by surprise since they didn't know what to say. Serafal. Come take a seat. Iri just nodded and went to the couch and sat next to Serafal. Serafal. The truth is that they don't love your dad. Iri. Because. Duchan is the best. Astrid. And no one denies that, but that's how it has been. Griselda. Because you think he was so happy to hear about Father's Day. Isaka. He said it himself that day. Remember? At that Iri closed her eyes to think until she remembered when Issei cried with joy. Iri. I see. So they are bad people. Claire. You could say. Iri. Still I can see what they are like. Serafal nodded and showed him a hologram showing him what they look like. Liza and Iri were surprised since they had seen them before. Liza. We saw them once. Grafia. Where? Liza. It was that day when we did her hair. On the afternoon we left. Ganrenksu. He told them something. Eerie. He insulted my father and then us. Penemu? I see. When you see them, don't talk to them, yes. Eerie. Okay Penemu Ka-chan. After that she and the other girls went to the amusement park. Meanwhile, Issei. She was looking at the results of the exams. Just then Mocha arrived and gave him a hug. Issei. How are you? Mocha. Good. I see that you did well in the exam since you are in the first places. Issei. But you beat me. You're smart. They were talking for a long time. Until they heard some noises, they both looked in that direction and noticed how 3 boys were bothering a girl. One of them was going to attack the girl, but Mocha got in the way. Mocha. Don't bother her. They didn't say anything since they attracted a lot of attention and decided to leave. After that the 3 of them went to the cafeteria. Thank you very much for helping me, my name is Yukari Sendu. Issei. My name is Issei, a pleasure. Mocha. I'm Akashiya. Yukari. I know you are very famous at school and I am glad to be able to talk to you. Besides, I love Mocha-san. They throw themselves on top of him, both falling to the ground. While Yukari touched her chest. Issei just laughed when he saw that. Mocha. Can you let me go please? Yukari. It's just that I love Mocha-san. That's why I want you to go out with me. Mocha. We can just be friends. Yukari. That makes me very happy. After that they left the dining room and walked down the hallway, drawing a lot of attention as Yukari continued to squeeze Mocha's chest. Issei was still laughing at the situation. Mocha. Issei, don't laugh. It's not funny. And you Yukari, can you please let go of me? Yukari. I'm fine like this. Also because that person follows us. Issei. If you want, she left me. Mocha. Please don't go. Yukari. But because he is just a hindrance to our relationship. At that Mocha let go and took Issei's arm. Mocha. Issei is my first friend. And he has helped me a lot. I like you Yukari-chan, but please don't act like that. Yukari. Okay. Leaving the place. Issei could see his sadness and just let out a sigh. A day passed and they had no news from Yukari, so Mocha went to look for her and when he found her he saw her surrounded by 3 lizard boys. When they saw her, they also went against her since she was very pretty. When one was about to touch her, Issei stopped your attack. Issei. There should be no fights at school. Throwing it away from the place. This is not your problem, get out of here if you don't want to die. Issei. I can't do that. No one will hurt Mocha and her friend. The remaining 2 went to attack, but Issei only kicked each one, sending them flying away from the place. Issei. You should have waited for me. Mocha. Sorry but I had to help Yukari-chan. Issei. I know. And now that everything is over we have to go back, it's too late. Yukari. Because you helped me despite what I said before. Issei. They're just words, they don't hurt me. You're also Mocha's friend. Turning around and starting to walk to her dorm since classes were over. Chapter 153. A few days had passed and Issei was in her room leaning against her thinking about everything that had happened since he got there. Issei. This place is interesting, but I have to go home. I'm not one of those people who loves to be still. Letting out a light laugh. After that she got up and left to go explore the clubs since it was the day to sign up for one. When he did, Mocha arrived and hugged him. Mocha. Hello Issei, how are you? Issei. Everything's fine and how are you? Mocha. With a lot of energy to see the clubs you are ready. Issei just nodded and they went to several clubs where none of them caught his attention. Until they went to the swimming club. Seeing the group of girls, Issei didn't feel anything good coming from there. Mocha. You want to join that club? Issei. None of that. I was just thinking about something. Besides, I spent 2 years at sea, it's time to get away from the water for a bit. Mocha. I see, then we continue searching. Issei. And tell me you don't like that idea of swimming. Mocha. Not really. Issei. Tell me the truth Mocha because you don't want to. Mocha. Water is the weakness of vampires. In order to wash I have to use some herbs to purify the water. Issei. Wow, I didn't know that. I thought a vampire's weakness would be garlic and stuff. Mocha. You watch a lot of movies hahaha. Issei. Yes, hahaha. At that, the 2 left the place, but a girl from the swimming club saw everything in that and was interested in Issei. They, for their part, continued on their way even without finding anything. Issei. Hey Mocha 2, do you like a club? At that point the necklace shined a little. Mocha 2. Don't call me that. Issei. And what should I call you then? You haven't told me, I have no choice. Matcha 2. Just call me Misako. Issei. Not bad, I like it. Misako. I don't care if you don't like it. Issei. Your other self is not very friendly. Mocha. With time you get used to it. Giving Issei a smile. Minutes passed and they were both on a bench talking about trivial things until a girl approached them. Hi guys. Note that they did not join any club, they do not like the idea of being in the swimming club, my name is Tamao. giving him a hexy pose to charm Issei, but it didn't work. He remained just as calm. Issei. Thanks for the offer but we're not interested. Tamao. Maybe they don't know how to swim, if so, don't worry, we'll teach them. Mocha. We don't want to so leave us. Tamao. Don't get involved. So vampires can't enter the water, it's a shame. Issei. Don't talk to my friend like that. Tamao. Come on, relax, and I have a better figure than her. Giving Issei a seductive smile. For his part, he continued with his neutral face. Tamao. Because you are not affected by my charm, every man wishes he could talk to me and touch me. Issei. They are their tastes, not mine. Furthermore, I have never noticed women's bodies. Tamao. You want to act interesting. Issei. I don't know what you mean, but I don't care about your opinion, so get out of here. Tamao was upset when he heard that and he left the place not very happy. Mocha. Thank you for defending me. Issei. Don't say that, I'll always defend you. Mocha just hugged Issei upon hearing that. Later Issei was walking until two people took him by the arms. He did not resist since he wanted to know where they took him. When they arrived at his destination, they threw him into a pool where he was surrounded by several girls. Issei. So they are mermaids. Tamao. You don't look very surprised. Issei. Well, I have a friend who is a mermaid. But she is kinder than you. And well, you wish. Sighs. I can tell that you are strong and that is better, so I can take away your life force. Little by little the mermaids approached Issei until one jumped on him, wanting to bite him, but when he did so his teeth broke. Tamao. What did you do to him? Issei. Nothing, maybe he doesn't take care of his teeth and they are weak. Shrugging his shoulders. The others jumped on him and the same thing happened. Issei. They're done, I want to go. Tamao. I will kill you. Going on the attack. At that moment Mocha arrived and was scared to see that since she managed to see how they took Issei away. She was about to jump into the water, but Issei slapped Tamao which made her unconscious and she started swimming to the exit. Issei. Mocha, what are you doing here? Mocha. I saw how they brought you here and I was scared, I thought I wouldn't see you again. Giving Issei a hug. Issei. Don't worry about that. Mocha, I have to talk about something important with you. Mocha broke away from the hug and saw Issei. He took her hand and they walked a little until they reached the roof of the building. Mocha. What do you want to talk about? Issei. I have to go. Upon hearing that, her eyes widened. Mocha. Because you're going to leave. Maybe it's because of them. Issei. That's not why. I have a place to return to and I also have people to help like my family. Mocha. But I don't want to be alone again. Issei. You have your two new friends like Yukari and Kurono. Mocha. But being with you is more fun, I don't want you to leave. Issei. Mocha, I don't belong in this world and I don't mean supernaturally, I mean I really don't belong here. I come from another dimension. Mocha was surprised when she heard that and Issei explained everything to her and also that she had a daughter and people waiting for him. She was surprised to hear all that, as was Misako. Mocha. I see. So you came here to think things over a bit. Issei. That's right, but the truth is I'm someone who can't be doing nothing. Mocha. But I don't want you to leave. Everything would be boring without you. Giving Issei a hug without wanting to let go. Issei. Mocha, I promise you I'll be back. How about? Mocha. Seriously, you'll come back? Seeing Issei with her sad eyes. Issei. Yes, I will come to visit you. Mocha. When you come back I'll go with you. Issei. But what about your family? Mocha. I'll tell you about that when you come back, yes. Issei. Okay. Tell me you want to do something before I go. Mocha. Let's stay like this for a while, yes. Watching the sunset. Issei just nodded and they took their seats. Mocha leaned on Issei's shoulder and they stayed like that for a few minutes until she fell asleep. Issei took her in her arms and carried her to her room without drawing much attention from her. When he did so she left him a note promising to return. Issei returned to her room. Issei. Chichigami, I want to go back. Seconds later the portal opened where Issei entered and he was in front of her. Chichigami. You've only been there for 2 months. Issei. I had so much fun, it's time to get back to the action. So send me somewhere else. Chichigami. You don't want to see the girls. Issei. It's just that if I go back I have a feeling that I will be scolded for coming back too soon, so I decided that you would send me somewhere else. Chichigami. Okay. Thinking about where to send it until she saw one and she didn't like what she saw. At that she opened the portal. Issei. Where am I going? Chichigami just gave him a smile. Issei seeing that better she just went in since she knew that she was not going to answer him. When she came out she noticed that it was night and that it was somewhat quiet. She walked a little through the streets until she heard laughter. And out of curiosity she went to the place until she noticed a group of people. And in the distance she saw something that she didn't like and she got upset. Chapter 154. Seeing that, Issei got upset and pushed each person aside until he reached the front. When doing so, a person was about to kick a girl. Issei grabbed him by the collar of his shirt and sent him flying away from there, causing him to collide with others. At that, Issei gets on his knees and takes the girl in her arms. She barely opened an eye and let out a tear. Now not anymore, no more please. Hearing that, Issei became more upset and laid the girl down on the ground very carefully and stood up, turning around. The citizens were scared when they saw Issei's serious face, but one came forward. "How dare you touch my partner, aren't you afraid of death?" The citizens took courage and supported the person. Issei noticed how most of them were drunk. Issei. By what right do you dare to touch an innocent person? Innocent, are you talking about that monster? Pointing at the girl. That is not humane, and our duty is to put an end to it, so stay away or prepare to die. Issei. Then come. At that, the person ran against Issei, confident of winning. But when he was about to arrive, Issei kicked him in the face, causing him to fall to the ground unconscious. When the others saw that, they were surprised, and the companions of the now unconscious man went to attack, but Issei only gave them one blow each. When the citizens saw that, they were scared and ran away. Issei, noticing that there was nothing else, took the girls in his arms and took out his wings and took flight at high speed, leaving the town, landing near a lake. He very carefully put the girl on the ground, and from a bracelet he had, he took out some bandages. Issei. Thanks to Penemu who gave me this pocket dimension. With the little he had, he bandaged the girl's wounds and waited for her to wake up. After half an hour, Issei heard some moans and approached her. Issei. Don't try hard, you're very bad. Seeing Issei's face, she got scared and tried to get up, but she fell to the ground. Issei. I told you. Don't hurt me please. Issei. I won't do anything to you. I know you're scared, but trust a little, yes. Giving him a smile. But why did he help me? Issei. Because I wouldn't do it like she was going to let those people hit a girl. But no one has helped me before, everyone calls me a monster. Everyone walks away from me and throws rocks at me. Releasing some tears. Seeing that, Issei approached her and gave her a hug, which she reciprocated. Issei. Cry all you want. She just cried since she didn't know what to do. After a few minutes she stopped crying and separated from Issei. Issei. You feel better? Yes, and thank you. Issei. Tell me why your parents didn't defend you. They stopped caring a long time ago. They only have time for my brothers. They must be celebrating their birthdays right now. They always forget mine. Issei. Today is yours too. If I'm older than them by just a few minutes. But the villagers always beat me this day. Issei. Too bad. I'm so sorry for what you're going through. But you didn't hit me like the others because. Issei. I can tell that you are a good girl. Plus they were drunk. That is normal for them during these holidays, since everyone loves my brothers. They were considered heroes. Issei. I see. Could you tell me your name? Issei. Of course, my name is Issei, it's a pleasure. Extending her hand. I am Naruko Uzumaki Namikaze. Issei. It's a pleasure to know your name, Naruko-chan. But hey, it's a little late now, you should go home and rest. Naruko. I don't want to go, but it's the only place I can sleep. Issei. You know, in life there are many challenges that must be overcome. Naruko. And where are you going? Issei. I'll stay here for a while, I like this place. If you want to talk, come and I'll be here. Naruko. Seriously, I'll do that, Dadabayo. Issei raised an eyebrow at the last, but she let it go since she saw the girl's smile. Naruko. Before I could only talk to my Aji-san when I had time, but now I can have a friend. Well, if you can. Issei. Of course I will be your friend and don't hesitate to come whenever you want. She got up from the ground happily and gave Issei a hug. After that she was about to leave until Issei stopped her. Issei. Since today is your birthday, this is the least I can give you. Taking off a necklace. Issei. This is the first thing I bought with my first salary, I hope you like it. Naruko. But it's valuable to you. Issei. That's why I give it to you. Because I know you will take care of him. She took it in her hands and gave Issei a smile. Issei. I'll walk you home. Naruko. Okay. I know where it is. Thanks for everything. After finishing saying that, she ran away from the place. Issei. Despite the injuries he has, I can see that he has a lot of energy. She sat down again and looked at the sky. Issei. What's wrong with the people of this town that they hurt such a happy girl? I have to look for information. Letting out a sigh. The next day Issei was still sitting near the lake with a fishing rod that he made himself. Just then he heard some footsteps and turned around and saw Naruko, but was surprised to see her with a sad face. Issei. Something's wrong with you. Maybe they. Naruko. It's not that. It's just that yesterday when I got home I heard how my parents continued with the party and how my brothers received their gifts. And as they were chosen as successors of the Namikaze and Uzumaki clans. As the oldest that I am, I should have been chosen. Since they didn't, I was made from both clans and I don't have a last name. Releasing some tears. Issei approached her and hugged her. Naruko. I don't have a family anymore. They don't care about me. Issei. Tell me what you will do from now on. Naruko. My Aji-san gave me an apartment upon hearing that news too. But I want to get revenge on them. Clenching his fists. Issei at that moment and gave him a small blow on the forehead. Making her drink it since it hurt her. Naruko. Because that was it. Issei. You know, as your friend, I'm going to recommend that you don't take that path. It won't bring you anything good. Naruko. But them. Issei. I know what you said and if it's bad. But taking revenge won't solve anything. Tell me what you will do after you get revenge. Naruko was going to say something, but nothing came to mind. Issei. For a while you will feel satisfied, but later you will feel a great emptiness since you will have completed your goal. Naruko. Then what should I do? Issei. Show that you are also strong. And that you don't need them to be someone in life. When they realize how great you are they are going to regret it and that is where you make a decision. Naruko. The answer is. Issei. Don't tell me. You will know that in due course. Okay. Naruko. It's okay and thanks for your words, I feel better now. Maybe without your words I would have taken revenge. Issei. Now just focus on improving. Tell me what are you going to do? Naruko. Be a great Kunoichi. Issei. I'm glad to hear that, I'll be supporting you. Naruko. You can train me. Issei. I'll try. I have to look for information. Naruko. Thank you. Well I have to go to my new house. Since the day after tomorrow the academy will start and my Aji-san enrolled me. Issei. Do your best. Let no one get in your way. Naruko. That's how it will be. Getting up and about to leave, but then she turns around and gives Issei a hug and then left. Issei just watched as she left with a smile and then returned to her business. Issei. Well, I have to look for information about this world to be able to help her. I'll have to go to that village and read a little. After catching something she ate it and headed off. Chapter 155. Issei walked a little until she saw a large door and as she was about to enter, she looked to the sides and noticed two sleeping guards. Seeing that, Issei only had a drop of sweat break out since she noticed them so carefree. She just let out a sigh and entered the town as she did so he noticed how calm she looked. Issei. Excuse me, sir, could you tell me where the library is? Of course, young man, continue straight and on the right you will see a large building. Issei. Thank you very much. Returning to his path after a few minutes he reached his destination and entered the library. Issei. Good morning ma'am. Can you tell me where I can find books about the history of this village? Library. Sure young man. On the second floor on the third shelf is all the information. Issei. I appreciate it. Starting to walk. When he arrived at the place he took out the most important books and caught up. Reading about how the village was founded and its name. He stayed like that for several hours until it became night and he decided to leave there. As he walked she was hungry and remembered that Shichigami gave him a bag full of money, so he looked around until he saw a raiment stand. Issei. Good night sir. Hello young lady, I offer you something. Issei. Give me something light please. He just nodded and went to the kitchen. While he was making Issei's order he listened to the cook and a girl talking about Naruko. When I brought Issei's food he asked. Issei. Excuse me but could you tell me how Naruko is? How do you know her? Issei. I'm a friend of hers. Don't tell me you're Issei. Issei. How do you know my name? She came in the morning and she was very happy that she made a friend and that's you. By the way, my name is Tucci. Issei. I see a pleasure. Tucci. Just because I'm her friend, this goes down the pike. Issei. Don't be upset about that. Tucci. I insist. Issei. Thank you. Tell me who this Aji-san she says is since I want to talk to him. Tucci. This is about Mr. Hiruzen Sarutobi. He is a good person who takes care of her and he loves her very much. Issei. Thanks for the information. At the end of eating she bowed and left the premises. She walked through the streets looking at where the man lived until he asked and they gave him directions. After a few minutes he arrives and knocks on the door as if nothing had happened. She is offered something young. Issei. I come to talk to Mr. Hiruzen. He's busy, I'm sorry. Issei. It's about Naruko. The maid nodded and closed the door without saying anything. After a few seconds Hiruzen arrived and saw Issei with a serious face. Hiruzen. Follow me. Issei just nodded and they both entered the house where they walked for a while until they reached an office. Hiruzen. Your ace of being Issei is not like that. Issei. I see that she told him about me. Hiruzen. That's just what he's been talking about all day today. I was curious to know who you are and now that I have you in front of me, I want to know your intentions. Issei took a seat just like Hiruzen. Issei. I just want to help her. She told me a little about her life. Hiruzen. Maybe you feel sorry for him. Issei. Not at all, on the contrary, I admire her for continuing with that positive attitude despite what happened. I want to help her. Hiruzen. I see but I don't feel chakra in you. How will you do it? You should know that she is in Uzumaki and they have great reserves. Issei. I read a little about them and that there are also few of them left. One of them being the wife of the fourth Hokage. Hiruzen. That's right. And how will you do it then? Issei. I have my methods, don't worry. But what I came for is for another more important matter. Hiruzen. And that would be. Issei. Why they hate Naruko and I want the truth. I do not like lies. Hiruzen took his pipe and let out a puff of smoke. Hiruzen. It's a bit of a long story. Issei. Please summarize it, I have things to do. Hiruzen. 8 years ago they attacked the idea of Kitsune no Yauko being the most powerful Biju of all. Issei. I read a little about them. Hiruzen. Before, the person who had him imprisoned was Kushina, and when she was going to give birth we were attacked by a masked man, and everything was a tragedy afterwards. Later he was freed and attacked everyone. Minato was willing to give life to seal it in his children, giving Mema and Mito his chakra and Naruko his soul. When he was about to die, Minato heard the Shinigami tell him that he would let him live since he saw something in one of them, and Minato thought it would be Mema or Mito. And well, he and his wife said that the two of them possessed the Biju chakra and Naruko the soul. The villagers thought that Naruko had been possessed by the Biju and well, you should know the rest. Issei. For such stupidity. Hiruzen. They also separated or more when a disciple of mine arrived and gave them the news of a prophecy, and they also said that it was Mema or Mito, and that's why they trained them more, leaving Naruko aside. Issei. That family is really stupid. Nothing is written. Everyone creates their future. Hiruzen. I know but they don't understand. Every time I talk to Minato he tells me it doesn't matter. Issei. I can tell that those two children are treated like gods here, not here. Hiruzen. That's right. Issei. I imagined it. From what I read, a Biju is not pure chakra mass. Hiruzen. That's right, but why do you ask? Issei. The answer is easy. If those two children use too much of that Biju's chakra, sooner or later they will run out of it since it does not belong to them. And during this time the Biju will be recovering. Hiruzen. Wait, you say that Naruko will have that Biju locked up with all his power, this is bad, he may corrupt her. Issei. You trust her. Furthermore, when those two children exhaust all the Biju's chakra they will be weak since they depended a lot on him. And his own power will be very weak since he was not trained. Hiruzen. I must talk to Minato soon. Issei. Relax old man. If you tell them that, someone will be able to hear you and they will be able to try to kidnap Naruko and use her as a weapon. Hiruzen. You're right. More than this Danzo who wishes he could control the entire village. Issei. Well, I have to go, it's late. Hiruzen. You can stay if you don't have somewhere to go. Issei. Thanks for the offer, but I have something to do to help Naruko. Hiruzen. And that would be. Issei. I'll go to Uzumaki. Hiruzen. Because you're going there? There are only ruins. Issei. I know I'm going to find something to help her train. So if you ever tell him I won't be around for a while. Hiruzen. Okay. Issei just nodded and with that he left the house. Going out of the village. Before leaving Hiruzen gave him a map to reach his destination. Issei without wasting time took his way. Chapter 156. Issei walked through the forest without any problem. Issei. It's a very quiet place, it's great. After a few days of traveling he arrived at a village where he had to go by boat, but Issei decided to run and not enter the village since he wanted to return quickly. It didn't take him much time as he was running at a great speed. Until he saw large whirlpools protecting the ruins. Issei without wasting any time gave a big applause, making the swirls stop. At that he ran so that they would not attack him later. Upon arriving at the island he noticed only ruins. Issei. Wow, this place was left in a bad state after that war. He started to walk and as he did so he noticed many corpses. Issei only made a sad face when he saw that since he noticed small bodies. After a long walk I reached the largest house and entered to investigate. Minutes later he arrived at the office that seemed to belong to the leader. Upon entering he was surprised because he looked so organized and he saw many photos on the sides and walls. He went to the bookshelves and took one and sat on the chair. He started reading and discovered many things about that village before. By mistake he hit the desk and noticed how a book fell and picked it up and when they read it, they were surprised since it was the leader's book. After an hour of reading she figured out where she needed to go. At that she left the building and walked a little further until she reached a mountain. Issei. From what I read there is something here, but for that I have to put the blood of an Uzumaki, but I don't have anything like that. I hope the stupid thing I'm doing works. Taking a step back and then giving it a blow, completely destroying what seemed to be a door. Issei. It worked. Entering the place and walking a little until he reached his destination and was surprised to see so many books there. Issei. Wow, this is more than I thought. I hope this helps Naruko to be a great ninja as she wants. Walking a little and taking the first book which was about Kenjutsu. When he opened it he read a little but didn't understand much, except that it was for sealing. He walked over and picked up a Kenjutsu scroll. Issei. To learn how to use the sword, this is interesting. You will be able to learn. Now that I remember. Leaving the scroll on the table and walking to the top floor until he reached his destination and found what he wanted. He approached and took 2 swords. Issei. From what I read, these swords were made with the best ore in the country of iron. Naruto will like it. Kept them in his bracelet. After that he walked a little and started taking all the books, since it would be a waste to leave them there. After an hour I had taken everything. Issei. Well, it's time to go back. Stretching a little and starting to walk to the exit. As she did so, she spread her wings and took flight. After a few hours of travel he arrived at the lake where he was staying, but before landing he saw a cabin in the distance, so he decided to go. When he arrived, he approached the cabin and knocked on the door but received no response. After a few seconds he tried to open it and noticed that it didn't have a lock. Upon entering I noticed that it was in poor condition. Issei. Well, this will be my home for now. Although Chichigami gave me enough money, I prefer to stay a little away. Well, I'll have to clean up a little here. Going outside and taking some branches to make a broom. After half an hour it was cleaner. Issei. Tomorrow I'll go get furniture. Taking a seat since I had nothing inside. The next day Issei left the cabin and headed towards the village. But after a few minutes of walking, she ran into Naruto. Seeing Issei, she ran to give him a hug. Issei. How have you been these days? Naruto. Very good. I've been training a lot these days. The bad thing is that my brothers are in the same class as me. Issei. Don't pay any attention to it and study. Naruto. I do my best, but the class teachers avoid me. Having a sad look. Issei. I see. Naruto. Where did you go? My Aji-san just told me that you came out. Issei. That's where I went to look for information to help you. Naruto. Seriously, that's great, Databeo. Issei. Well, what do we start with first? Naruto. I want to learn powerful jutsus. Issei. Ha, you're in a hurry, but everything is on time. Plus a powerful jutsu won't help you in a battle. You know, even the weakest ability can do a lot of damage, you just have to know how to use it well. Naruto. And you know so many jutsus. Issei. None. Naruto. Then you'll teach me. Issei. Everything in its time. First you must awaken your chakra coils in order to do what you want. Naruto. Great. Issei. Well, first sit down and close your eyes and think about a thread. When you see it, take it. Naruto just nodded and did as Issei asked. She was like that for half an hour, but nothing. Issei could tell that she was getting desperate. Issei. Relax, if you put a lot of pressure on yourself, you won't make it. Naruto let out a sigh and did it again. Half an hour later Issei could notice a blue aura that caused her to smile. Then later there was a chakra explosion where Naruto woke up. Naruto. Maybe it didn't work. Issei. Quite the opposite. It was perfect, and tell me how you feel. Naruto. A little stronger. And so now what we do, you're going to give me some rolls with jutsus. Issei. So you have few magical reserves. You have to train to increase your reserves. So. Taking a sheet of paper out of his pocket and handing it to him. Naruto. Run a kilometer, do squats, chest squats, and more. This sounds very difficult. Issei. You must train your body. Naruto. But this will only give me muscles. Issei. Not if you just do what's necessary. Trust me. Naruto. I will always trust you. Issei. Thank you. Well, it's time for you to go, you have a lot to do. Do that for a month and then come. Naruto. It's a long time and I won't be able to see you. Issei. It will pass very quickly, don't worry. Patting him on the head. After a few seconds she left since she had to train and go to class. Issei. I hope it goes well for you. Now that I remember, I must have gone with her to look for her furniture. But it doesn't matter, I better make my own. Returning to the cabin. A month passed where Issei was leaning on a tree reading a book. Seconds later Naruto arrived with a big smile. Issei could notice the change in him, his physique now had more muscle. Issei. I noticed that it went well for you. Naruto. At first it was difficult, but over time I adapted. Now that's it. Issei took out some scrolls and handed them over. Naruto opened them and saw a taijutsu style that belongs to her clan. Naruto. Great. I know it's different from the one my mom uses. I say Mrs. Uzumaki. She said it with some sadness, but she shook her head and put on her smile. Naruto. I'll do my best. Issei. Don't try hard, okay? And don't show off too much of your skills so you don't attract as much attention. Naruto. Okay. Then when do I have to go back? Issei. Whenever you want, that's not easy to learn, I'll try to help you with whatever I can. In addition to increasing your reserves. Naruto. This is exciting. Issei just gave her a smile after that she left since she had classes. And so 4 years passed where Naruto often went to Issei to train. Issei helped her as much as she could. Issei, on her account, read a lot to be able to help her, and a year before she was walking through the forest until she found a boy who was all injured. Issei. Leave me and I'll help you. Thank you but it's too late for that. But I thank you for your kindness. Issei. I see. You want something before you already know. Sure, come closer. Issei just nodded and approached when she was about to say something. Issei fainted, the only thing she saw was red eyes. When she woke up she felt a burning sensation in her eyes, but she put it aside when she saw the boy next to him already dead. Before taking it she saw a note in her hand. I hope it helps you in the future, I wish you luck. Issei didn't know what she meant, but she let him since she had to bury her body. After that Issei was sitting in a chair until she saw Naruto arrive. Issei. I see you very happy. Naruto. It's just that tomorrow is my graduation and well I'm a little nervous. Issei. But you will do well. I trust you. Naruto. Thank you. Furthermore, it has been 4 years since I met you, and thanks to that, from that day on, no one from the town bothered me again on my birthday. Issei. Maybe they changed their minds. At that Issei remembered when Naruto's birthday came and he was in a building near his house when Issei saw a group going to Naruto's house. Issei without wasting time jumped off the building in front of the citizens, giving them a death glare. When they saw that, they fled from the place. And so were the other 3 years where no one could do anything to him. Issei. You are no longer that little girl who jumped everywhere, now you are more of an adult. Naruto. I'm only 12, it's not that big of a deal. Issei. Yes it is. Naruto. Ani-chan you haven't changed anything. You remain the same as before. Issei. Hahaha, not things. Naruto. I came to tell you if you want to come to my graduation tomorrow. He said it with great hope since he wanted it to go. Issei just gave her a smile. Issei. Obviously I'll go. Plus I have 2 gifts for you after your graduation. Naruto. I'm really excited and I want to see them. Issei. Just wait. You better go since you have classes, it's your last day. Naruto. Okay, see you Ani-chan. Starting to run. Issei just smiled when he saw his excitement. Chapter 157. Issei was walking to the village since he had promised to go see Naruto on his graduation day. Issei. I haven't come to this village in a while since it hasn't been necessary. Arriving at the entrance and being surprised to see the 2 sleeping, Issei just shook his head and continued on his way. After a few minutes of walking he saw a crowd and went there since it was the academy. When he arrived he made his way to be able to see, remaining close to a person. Issei. Long time without seeing you old man. Hiruzen. I say the same thing. It's been about 3 weeks since we saw each other and everything is ready. Issei. Thank you and tell me you didn't have any problems. Hiruzen. It was a bit difficult to convince, but in the end I managed it. I also trust you since I saw how Naruto improved in this time. Issei. I will do my best. At that Hiruzen took out a scroll giving it to Issei. Hiruzen. Put some of your blood in it and they will be what you need. Issei just nodded and they both continued waiting. Minutes later, some sad children and others happy left to see their relatives. Naruto looked around until he saw Issei and his Aji-san. He quickly ran out giving Issei a hug. Naruto. I'm glad you came Ani-chan. Some stared at him since they didn't know who he was. Naruto's parents were like that too. After that Naruto gave his Aji-san a hug. Issei noticed the stares. Issei. We're leaving. We have to celebrate. By seeing that band on your head, I can guess that you're quite a ninja. Naruto. Let's go get ramen. He said it with stars in his eyes. Hiruzen and Issei just laughed upon hearing that and headed off. After a long walk Hiruzen left and Issei and Naruto walked a bit where she took him to the monument. Naruto. I've already taken a step towards fulfilling my dream. Issei. I know. And also I promised you a gift, no. Hearing that, she saw Issei and waited. At that, Issei took out 2 katanas from her bracelet, giving them to her. When she saw them, they were surprised since her sheath was red and when she took out one of hers, her metal was black. Plus she had the whirlpool symbol. She happily took them and gave Issei a hug. Naruto. They are very pretty, I will take good care of them. Issei. Don't say that. They are to defend you. Naruto. I know. Ani-chan you said there were 2 and the other one is. Issei. That will be later, don't worry. And tell me what will happen now that you're a ninja. Naruto. In a few days Iruka-sensei will tell us who our Jimin-sensei is. I hope I get a group that likes me as well as a teacher who doesn't hate me. Issei. You remember that 2 years ago we talked about that, right? Why they hate you? Naruto. Yes I know and it's because of the Kyuubi. Although it was difficult for me to process everything, you helped me. Issei. Now go rest and continue your training tomorrow. Naruto. Okay, see you. Starting to run to her house. Issei, for her part, stayed there watching the sunset. Issei. Well, very long but fun days await me. Starting to walk towards her house. Days passed and the graduate students were in the classroom waiting. When Naruto arrived at her living room, she attracted a lot of attention since she had her 2 katanas on her back. She didn't take much notice of it and went to her seat. Minutes later Iruka arrived with a list. Iruka. I know I've already said this once, but I'll say it again. I am proud of you and I hope for great things in the future. The whole class was grateful for that. Iruka. Well, Team 1. Giving the list until I get to Team 7. Iruka. Team 7 will be made up of Sasu Kuchika, Sakura Haruno, Mema Uzumaki Namikaze and Mito Uzumaki. Its Jimnin will be Kakashi Haddock and Kashina Uzumaki. Several were surprised to learn that there would be more than normal and that they would have 2 elite teachers. Iruka. Team 8 will be made up of Kiba Inuzuka, Shino Aburam and Sai. His Jimnin will be Kurenai Iki. Team 9 is still in circulation. Team 10 are Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara and Shinjai Akimichi. Their Jimnin will be Asuma Suratobi. He was going to continue, but someone knocked on the door and Iruka let him in. The Jimnin being what they were. Although one was dragged by a redeed. The last one to enter was Issei, who had his Jimnin vest and with a ponytail. Some girls were surprised to see him since he was cute. Naruko's eyes widened when she saw him. Iruka. Team 11 will be Naruko and Hinata Haikta. Her Jimnin will be Issei. That's all and I wish you luck. Leaving the room. Someone was going to speak, but Issei beat them to it. Issei. Team 11 follow me. Walking to the exit where the 2 girls followed him. While they were doing it Naruko and Hinata were talking. Minutes later they arrived at field number 11. Where Issei took a seat on the floor and asked them to do the same. Naruko. How is it possible? So this is the other gift. Issei. Something like that, you think. Naruko. Great. Issei. When we are at work, call me sensei, yes. Naruko just nodded. Issei. Well with that said, we have to introduce ourselves. My name is Issei and I like to see new places and make friends. Now you. Naruko. I'm Naruko, I love ramen and I like being with my friend Hinata and training. What I don't like is waiting the 3 minutes for the ramen to be ready and the presumptuous ones. Hinata. My name is Hinata Haikta, I like harvesting flowers and being with Naruko. And I also hope to make my father proud. Issei. I know you will make it. Well the old man told me that I have to give them a test because if I don't they won't be able to officially be ninjas. Naruko. What? Issei. Yes but I won't do that. Time will tell me if they are made for this or not. Plus I know a little about you. Tell me Hinata how far you can see with your Byakugan. Hinata. About 2 kilometers. Issei. Wow that's a lot and great. Hinata. Thanks but I'm not good at combat. Issei. Hinata I know you're good at that, you're just afraid of hurting your teammates and that's not bad, but in a real situation, what will you do? Let your teammate and friend die. Hinata. No, but. Issei. Don't worry, I'm going to help you with everything. Besides. Taking out a bracelet bow and giving it to Hinata. Issei. With your eyes you can see long distances and this will help you just have to practice. Hinata. But in my family no one uses weapons. Issei. Then you will be the first. At that she stood up and walked a little away where she put a branch on the ground and returned to them. Issei. I want you to take down that branch. Naruko. It's impossible, she's far away and she's very thin. Issei. Trust her. Hinata just nodded and started shooting arrows, but nothing since she had no experience. Issei helped her a little by giving her instructions until after about 10 minutes, she could give him instructions. Issei and Naruko applauded her where she was glad for her. Issei. Nothing is impossible if you put your mind to it. Well with that said we have to go celebrate our new team. Raising her fist as did Naruko. Hinata did it but not much at all. The 3 of them went to eat something. Already at night, all the Jimnin were in the Hokage's room where the first teams tested. Kashina. Team 7. They all passed although at the beginning they had difficulties communicating since everyone struggled on their own. But in the end they worked together. Minato. I'm happy for them. I hope for many things in the future. Kurenai. Team 8. Everyone passed. They fought well together and didn't have many problems. Minato just nodded with a smile. Assume. Team 10. At the beginning, everyone just fought, but when it came time to fight, everyone contributed something to stop me. A long future awaits them like their parents. Minato. I know they will. Just then someone knocked on the door and they let him in as Issei. Minato. These are not the hours to arrive. Issei. Sorry but I had something to do and well they do. Kashina. Giving our report and you. Issei. Oh that. Alright. Team 11 everyone passes they are the best. Giving everyone a smile. Minato. Don't lie. From what I saw in his papers. One of them barely managed to graduate and she doesn't know how to fight and the other has good grades but she is afraid of combat. Issei. You do your thing and I do mine. Kakashi. That's not how you talk to the Hokage. Issei. He should not be guided by simple roles. Well that's all I left. He was about to open the door but that took a kunai that was facing him. Which was launched by Minato. He was about to say something but Issei returned it with such great speed that Minato didn't have time to react. Cutting his cheek a little. Issei. It's a cool kunai. Thanks for showing it to him. Leaving the room. Chapter 158. Those present were surprised since they didn't even notice when Issei returned the kunai. Minato for his part was upset by what he did. Minato. If it weren't for Hizarin convincing me of this. Does anyone know about him? I searched my files but nothing. Asuma. I asked the old man, but he just said that he was a great trustworthy ninja. Minato. But I should know about all the ninjas in this village. Kakashi. Maybe Sarutobi-san. He kept him hidden and sent him on a long mission where he requested his return. Minato. I asked my sensei and I still haven't gotten any information from him. Kushina. He must have a long history so that no one knows about him. Furthermore, he is very young to be a Junin, it is obvious that he is only 17 years old. Minato. I don't know what Hiruzen is thinking. We just have to wait. You can leave. Everyone nodded and left the room, leaving only him and Kushina. The next day Issei was at training ground number 11. Issei. Well, Hinata, you started your training at a very young age. Tell me, can you climb the trees now? Hinata. The truth is they haven't taught me that yet. Issei. I see. Well, that will be your lesson today. Well, your Naruko goes to the lake there and as usual. Naruko. Okay sensei. Leaving the place. Issei. Well, come on Hinata, it's time to go in. Hinata. We shouldn't do missions like everyone else. Issei. Yes we should. But it is better to train a little and in the afternoons we will have one. No hurry. They both reached a tree and Issei asked him to start. At first he had a hard time, but after 3 hours he had reached the top. Issei. Not bad. And in just one day you are a genius. Giving him a thumbs up. Hinata just gave him a smile since it was the first time someone had said something nice to her. Issei. Keep it up until you can run, I'll go see Naruko. Hinata. Okay sensei. Issei walked to the lake where he saw Naruko fighting one of his clones. Issei. Not bad. At that Naruko hit his clone, making it disappear. Naruko. Sensei. I have almost completely mastered being on the water. Issei. I'm glad about that and tell me how you're doing with the Fukinjutsu. What level are you? Naruko. Barely level 3. Although it just started last year since you sensei made me improve my handwriting. Issei. It's a requirement to make good seals. But it is already progress, little by little you will improve. Naruko. And how are you doing? He must have a high level. Issei. I think it was level 8, I really don't know. Naruko. Great, soon he will reach the Hokage since he is level 9. Issei. Well, leaving that aside. Come on, we have a mission to do. Naruko just nodded and they went to Hinata where the three made their way. Arriving at the Hokage's office, Minato was not very happy to see Issei, but he couldn't do anything, so he gave them their mission. A month passed where every morning they trained a lot where Issei focused more on training Hinata, helping her take away some of her shyness and help her use her bow better. Thanks to that she was able to increase her range of vision. He didn't focus as much on Naruko since she knew what she had to do. Hinata was happy with the group she was in since they treated her like someone normal, not with respect. In the afternoons they did 1 or 2 missions depending on how Issei looked at the tired students of her. Team 11 was in the Hokage's office where they were called. Minato. I'll get to the point, Team 7 had problems with a C-rank mission that became A-rank. I would send another team, but they are busy with their missions, so it's just you. They have to go to the country of the waves, there they will find their companions. Throwing a roll to Issei with the directions. Taking it, Issei only half nodded and left the room. Issei. Well, see you at the door in 10 minutes. But if they are not ready I can cancel. Naruko. I'm ready, let's go. Hinata. You know the best about me. Naruko. But because 10 minutes is too little. Issei. They are ninjas, speed is the most important thing, see you. Taking a leap and leaving the place. Both girls ran home to look for the most necessary things. Minutes later Issei was at the entrance with nothing in her hands and saw how 2 girls arrived with a backpack. Issei. Naruko, you still don't know how to make storage scrolls. Naruko. Oh, it's true, in the rush I forgot that, haha. Taking out 2 and giving 1 to Hinata. After that they went to the hideouts to put on their normals and left the village. Hinata. It's the first time I leave the village. Issei. There are good places to see. And tell me you're doing well with your training. Hinata. Thanks to your introduction I was able to move forward. Issei. I'm glad about that. If they continue like this they will go very far. Hinata. Sensei, I have never seen you train. Naruko. Neither do I, and I've known him for a long time. Issei. I do it at night. Hinata. Where does he get so much energy from? Issei. One should always be positive. But hey, be on alert, anything can happen. But if we want to get there quickly you can go through the trees. They already have a good handle on that. I will follow them from down here. They just nodded and jumped, landing on a branch. And starting to jump. Issei started running to keep up with them. He didn't run very fast since he didn't want to leave them behind. The days passed and they had no problems on their trip. At night Hinata and Naruko cooked and Issei kept watch. After a while they reached their destination. The three looked around and saw a lot of poverty. Issei just continued on his way after she would find a way to help. That's when they arrived at the bridge builder's house. At that point the group entered the house where they saw the others in the living room. Mema. Seriously, they sent the weakest of the group. They will only be a hindrance. Sasuke. The idiot is right. I have enough with them and now you. Issei did not listen to his words and approached Kushina. Issei. Tell me the situation. Kushina. Everything was going well until two guys appeared at the beginning and then Zabuza Mamachi, a swordsman of the mist, appeared. Issei. I see, and how is your partner? Kushina. Good. We both managed to hurt him a little, but sooner or later he will attack again. We have been training the boys these days. Issei. I understand. I'll go out and explore a little. You two be on alert in case something happens. They just nodded and Issei left the house to see the place. As he walked in the distance he saw a cabin and felt two presences. Issei. I still can't get used to feeling the presences of others. That's when I walk to the cabin and knock. Seconds later a person opened the door. Do you need something? Issei. I was just passing by. And tell me, your friend is still hurt. I do not know what is he talking about. Issei. Let's stop playing games. And put that kunai away. I won't make you want to talk to you. The person hesitated a little, but she heard the voice of his partner and let him in. Issei. So you're Zabuza, from what I see you look better. Zabuza. What do you want? Maybe you're coming to kill us since you're a ninja from Konoha. Issei. I'm just here to talk. Tell me that person who hires them pays them well. Zabuza. What's that about? Issei. Just answer. Zabuza. If he pays us well. Issei. I can't let that builder be killed since that bridge will help many families who are in poverty. Zabuza. I'm just doing my job. Issei. And I'm mine. I propose you a deal. Zabuza. What? Issei. Tell me where that cat is and I'll go and give you half of the money he has. The rest will be for the people. Zabuza. You're kidding, right? You're just a brat, plus I feel very little chakra about you, as you will. Issei. I have my means and well what you say. Issei extended his hand and Zabuza hesitated a little but accepted. At that he gave instructions to Issei but told him that later he was going to attack so he had to be quick. Issei just nodded and left the place. Minutes later Issei saw the large mansion with several hideouts. Chapter 159. Issei. I have time without fighting, it's time to fight a little. Starting to walk out of the trees all the guards looked at Issei as if he were a madman. One of them approached Issei. Brat, did you get lost? Issei. Something like that but I don't have time. Tell me where Cat is. Ahaha, you have the courage to talk like that. Also because of your headband you are a Konoha ninja. Better he die. Trying to hit Issei, but he stopped him with his hand and hit him in the face that made him pass out. When the others saw that, they began to take out their weapons and went to attack. Issei ran towards them, kicking and punching them, knocking them down the first time. At the end he entered the mansion shouting the cat's name. Seconds later a man with many hideouts appeared. Beidou. You have the nerve to come here alone as a Konoha ninja. Issei. You've caused a lot of trouble, friend, it's time to end this. Beidou just laughed and sent all of his soldiers to kill Issei. For his part, he just let out a sigh and waited for them. It didn't take them even 2 minutes when everyone was already dead. Beidou, upon seeing the corpses, got scared and took a step back where he spun. Hat. Don't kill me, I'll give you whatever you want. I can get you beautiful women and give you money. Issei. I'm fine like this, thank you. Beidou was about to say something, but Issei grabbed him by the neck and threw him into a wall where he died instantly since Issei threw him with great force. He walked through the house looking for his vault until he found it and when he did so he kept the money in 2 parts and at the end he gave a big hit causing a small tremor enough to destroy the house. At that he returned to his path. Issei. I must hurry or else someone may die today. Starting to run at high speed to reach their destination. Meanwhile in the village the two Junin were fighting with Zabuza while the young men with Haku where Sasuke and Mema were all injured. Mito and Sakura took care of the builder. While Naruko and Hinata were taking care of Tezuna's daughter and her grandson. After a long while everyone saw Issei arrive. Issei. I arrived on time. Kakashi. What had you done to yourself? Issei. I've been busy. Throwing a bag at Zabuza which he took and when he looked inside he was surprised as it was a lot of money. Zabuza. Seeing this I can assume that you complied. Issei. What did I tell you? Well with this done you can go. Kushina. What do you mean? Issei. They were just working and now that the person who paid them died there is no point in continuing this fight. Zabuza. It was a pleasure fighting with you too. Haku, we're leaving. He just nodded and walked over to Zabuza where they disappeared. Issei. Well it's time to go back but first. He took out a wristlet bag and gave it to Tezuna. When he opened it he was surprised because it was a lot of money. Issei. That will be enough. If this is all I have to go. Tazuna. They're not staying to celebrate. Issei just shook his head and headed towards the house where both girls were waiting for him. Issei. We're leaving. Naruko. In the end we didn't do much. Issei. Hahaha, everything in its time. On the way we will see something, yes. They both nodded and took their things, and the three left the house. After a long walk they stopped to rest where Issei took out 2 papers for them which they took with curiosity. Issei. They are papers to know what element they are good at. They should already know how it works. Naruko. Yes, they told us at the academy. Issei. Then do it. They both nodded and put chakra on the paper where Naruko broke into several pieces and Hinata's burned. Issei. Not bad, wind and fire. They can make a good combination. Hinata. Sensei, and you, what element do you have? Issei. I really have no idea. I never tried it since that doesn't attract much attention to me. Naruko. Try it, yes. Issei. Good. Taking out another paper he had. Issei. You know I'm not used to using this chakra thing. Passing a bit of his chakra, and as he did so the paper divided into several pieces. Where one got burned, another got wet, another got electrocuted. Both girls had their mouths open as they noticed that Issei had all the items. Naruko. Great. It was to be expected from sensei, you are the best. Hinata. It's the first time I see that, that's great. Issei. Hahaha, thanks, and leaving this aside. Take it. Giving them 2 rolls with a technique for their element. Issei. They are low ranking, but if they train it to the maximum they can make it very powerful. They both just nodded. And they put them away and went to sleep. The next day they continued on their way while they both practiced the signs to do the jutsu. Issei for her part only took care of them. Naruko. Sensei, why don't you train too? You can train any element. Issei. I'm fine like this. It is not necessary for now, perhaps in the future. Hinata. Other people would be very happy to know that they have so many items, but you act as usual. Issei. You know, Hinata, I've never cared about power. Naruko. Because. Issei. What's the point of having so much power if you don't have someone to defend? Naruko. And you have no one to defend. Issei. Of course. I have you too and other people. But I am satisfied with my old skills and for now there is no need to know more. Hinata. I see. They continued on their way without any problem until they reached their destination. When they did so, they both went home and Issei went to her house. The next few days were quiet where they both only trained and in the afternoons they did missions. They had already mastered their first jutsu when they showed it to Issei and he was happy with his progress. Naruko. Sensei, I have a question. Issei. Tell me. Naruko. Because so many people come besides ninjas from other villages. Issei. Oh, that. He reached into her pocket and then handed them both 2 pages. Issei. The Chunin exam will be coming soon and that's why so many people come. And well, those sheets are for you to register, well, if you think you are ready. Naruko. I'm ready and so are you, Hinata. Hinata. I will do my best, I will not disappoint you. Issei. If something happens, just give up. I don't want them to get hurt. Naruko. We will do our best. Issei. Well, fill that out and in the afternoon you'll wait for me here to take it to the Hokage. You can go. They both nodded and left the place. Issei, for his part, walked through the village looking around since he had nothing better to do. Visited several places and ate at some places too. After a while she returned to the place where they both gave her their papers and Issei gave them free time. After that he went to the Hokage's office where he saw the other Jonin. Issei. Well, I see everyone here. It doesn't matter, I come to give the papers to my 2 students. Minato. Okay. Receiving both papers. Issei was about to leave, but someone grabbed his shoulder. I'm Mike Guy, nice to meet you. Issei. I say the same. I heard you are very good at taijutsu. Hahaha, yes. Do you want to exercise with me and my apprentice? Issei. Another time. Well, I have to go. Leaving the room. And going to his house since it was a little late. Chapter 160. A few days had passed where the girls made an effort to train every day. Hinata's father was surprised since he always watched her training, but he never said anything to her. Naruko, for her part, did the exercises that Issei gave her and continued with sword training. That's when the day of the exams arrived. Issei was waiting for both girls until they arrived. Issei. They're ready. Naruko. I'm 100. Hinata. I'll do my best. Issei. I wish you luck. Go to the place to win. They both nodded and went to look for the living room. When they arrived at the place they saw several young people trying to enter a door. Naruko. Obviously that's not the proof. Hinata. It must be part of the test. Naruko nodded and they both began to go up to the next floor until they both heard Mema say to dispel the Jinjutsu. Naruko just let out a sigh and they better left. Minutes later everyone was gathered waiting. Ino. Wow, what are you 2 doing here too? Naruko. It's obvious not. Sakura. You're very weak, you don't deserve to be here. Naruko. Whatever you say. Sakura. They didn't do anything that time. Well, Sasuke did everything. Hinata. We are companions, we don't have to fight. Kabuto. You guys are attracting a lot of attention. Naruko. They are. Hinata, we better go soon, this will start. She just nodded and they left there. Well, Sasuke and Mema asked him questions. Minutes later everyone was ready to take the exam. Meanwhile the Jonin were in a room watching everything that would happen. Kakashi. I didn't think you'd actually put your students in there. Issei. I trust them. Plus you and your partner are spoiling your students. I realized it. Kakashi. Don't talk nonsense. Issei. I'm just telling the truth. Kushina. You brag a lot, but I've never seen you fight, and also no one knows about you. Issei. I am a pacifist, I don't like to fight. Asuma. Maybe what the old man said about you is a lie. Issei. Maybe. Who knows? Kurenai. You seem very calm despite what they tell you. Issei. They try to humiliate me, you know, I'm used to that, and well, I don't care. Kakashi. I challenge you to a battle. Issei. You're kidding, right? Because I would have to accept such a thing. Kakashi. It's because you're a ninja and you never turn back. Issei. If that's what you want, that's fine. Let it be right now. Kakashi just nodded and they both left. The other Jonin followed them to those from the other villages. After a few minutes of walking they both arrived at a small stadium. Issei. Let's finish this quickly, I have to go see my studies. Kakashi just put the book away from him and got into an attack position. At that Kushina gives the start signal. Kakashi was about to attack, but at that moment Issei was in front of him with his fist close to his face. Everyone was surprised since they didn't even see when he moved. Issei. Do you want to continue? Kakashi had his eye wide open as he saw Issei's speed. But he snapped out of his trance and jumped back and activated his Sharingan. Issei. I haven't seen those eyes in a while. He told him so himself. At that Issei noticed how he was making seals with his hand at great speed. Issei didn't understand what he was doing so he just stood there waiting. Seconds later he saw how a large earth dragon was coming towards him. Issei only gave it a blow, destroying it completely. Issei. Hey, that was really great. Doing the same movements at a faster speed than Kakashi, launching a larger dragon that Kakashi barely managed to evade. That boy is fast and strong. Asuma. That he knows so much. Watching the fight. Issei. This is taking a while, I have to go back. Moving at a great speed that not even the Sharingan could see, seconds later Issei appeared behind Kakashi, hitting him on the back, sending him flying away. When he was about to collide with a wall, Issei appeared ahead and gave him another kick that sent him into the air. When he was about to fall, Issei hit him in the stomach, knocking all the air out of him. Everyone couldn't believe his speed as they couldn't follow him. Issei, seeing that he didn't get up, began to walk to the exit. Kakashi. This doesn't end here. While in his hand he had a Chidori. At that he started running towards Issei. Some yelled at him to stop as this attack was very dangerous. But they weren't going to arrive in time. When he was about to hit Issei in the stomach, he stopped his attack with his hand. And he squeezed Kakashi's hand causing him to scream in pain. When the Chidori dispersed everyone saw Issei's burned hand, but he was surprised as they saw that he recovered at great speed. Issei. Don't do something stupid next time. Looking into Kakashi's eyes with his cold gaze. Kakashi could only nod as he felt great fear upon hearing those words. Then Issei began to walk to the exit in great silence. Issei. I think I overdid it. I think I'll have problems with the Hokage. Well, it doesn't matter. He went to the classroom so he could see how his students were doing. When he arrived he noticed that there were few students and that his students were still there helping each other. Issei. Not bad. Hours passed and with that the first part of the exam was over. Issei. They didn't do it wrong. Hinata. At first it was difficult to know what we had to do. Naruko. But we found out that we had to cheat. Hinata. And what did you do, sensei? Issei. I just saw how they were doing, there was nothing interesting. As I know, his next test is in the Forest of Death. I wish you luck. They both nodded and left since it would start shortly. Hiruzen. You have trained them very well. Issei. They have talent. They will go very far. Hiruzen. I know. I could see through my crystal ball what you did to Kakashi. How did you recover so quickly? Issei. It's a skill. But I rarely use it. Hiruzen. Well, let's go, we have to see how it goes for both of them. Issei just nodded and they both left the place. Minutes passed and the young people had entered the forest. Naruko. Have you seen any group? Hinata. We have to find someone who has the land. Hinata. Within my range I can't find anyone. Naruko. We have to be careful because as you heard, people can kill here. Hinata. I know. Naruko. You've changed a lot in all this time, you're not so shy anymore. Hinata. Sensei has supported me a lot. He never made fun of me, and when he made a mistake he didn't scold me, but on the contrary he supported me. Naruko. He is someone unique. Hinata. How you met him you never told me. Naruko. He saved me when he was about to die. Also, when my family abandoned me instead of supporting me in my revenge, he gave me some advice, and thanks to that I am who I am now. Hinata. Tell me Naruko what you think of your family right now. Naruko. They're just strangers to me now. Nothing unites us anymore and now I only have Aji-san and Ani-chan, and nothing else matters to you. Hinata. Thank you. I was about to continue, but I detected a group. Hinata. Here they come, one is coming straight to us, and the other two stayed behind preparing a trap. Naruko. You can hit one. Hinata. Sure. Drawing his bow from a scroll and shooting an arrow. Hitting the boy on the shoulder since he didn't see where he came from. At that Naruko ran faster to intercept the one who was going towards them. He launched a wind jutsu that sent the boy backwards. He took advantage of that and hit her in the stomach. Naruko. Which scroll do you have? If you give them to us we will leave them alone. The one on land. Taking it out and giving it to him. Naruko. We're lucky. Hinata, let's go, everything is ready. Hinata just nodded and they both left there so as not to have any more problems. They ran for a few hours until they saw the building. When they arrived, they both opened their scrolls and a screen of smoke formed from which Issei emerged. Issei. I'm glad they made it. They are the second to arrive. Those from Sunagakure arrived first. Naruko. It doesn't matter. And what will we do now? Issei. They will have to wait a few days until the others arrive to continue to the third round. So you can relax a little. Well, see you later. Naruko. What will you do? Issei. I'll see some things. Patting them both on the head and leaving the place. They went to their assigned room to rest since they had been running non-stop. Chapter 161. A few days had passed where the other ninjas began to arrive. Naruko. I was getting bored of waiting, they finally started to arrive. Hinata. Plus all our classmates are here. Naruko. That doesn't matter. Ino. When you arrived. Naruko. The same day we left. The good thing is that we met someone. Ino. How lucky we had to help Sasuke's group since they were attacked. Naruko. Too bad for you. But the good thing is that they did it. Sakura. It was all because of Sasuke. Naruko. I see. Without taking it into account. At that point they were called by the Hokage since everyone was there. At that point he gave the speech and the couples gave. Hinata always fought against Neji and Naruko against Mito. Neji. You are destined to lose. Hinata. Neji Nai-san. I'm not the same as before. Taking attack position. At that they gave the attack signal and both went to attack using their clan style. Naruko. Sensei, how does he think things are going? Issei. In the past she would undoubtedly lose because of her shyness and fear of hurting her friends, but now things are different. Watching the combat. Issei. Tell me Naruko, can you beat your sister? Naruko. I'm not going to let you down sensei. I'm going to win and she's no longer my sister now I only have you. I will make you proud of me. Issei. I will always be proud of you. Giving him a smile which Naruko returned. Meanwhile Hinata continued fighting his cousin. At that she uses the soft fist, but Neji managed to deflect the attack. Neji. I see you haven't wasted your time. Hinata. I have a great sensei. Making seals with his hands and then throwing bullets of earth that Neji barely managed to deflect some, since there were many. Neji. Not bad. 8 Trigama's 64 palms. Going on the attack. Hinata's father was surprised since he could use that technique. Hinata. 8 Trigama's I count 20 palms. Going on the attack and clashing skill. Everyone was surprised as he had improved the skill. Issei only had a smile as she was doing very well. After a few minutes Neji was all hurt and tired. Neji. How is it possible? Everything was written in destiny. It was said that you were going to lose against me. Hinata. Maybe in the past, yes. But I have a sensei who helps me improve every day. And I promise to win. Neji was going to attack, but halfway there he fainted from exhaustion. The judge and a doctor arrived where he took Neji. Hinata walked to his booth and Naruko gave him a hug for the victory. Issei. You did magnificent. Hinata. It's all thanks to you that helped me improve my technique. Issei. Keep it up. Hiashi, Hinata's father, addressed her with her usual serious face. But this time Hinata looked into his eyes without fear. Hinata. Something's happening father. Hiashi. You're not as useless as I thought. Leaving the place. Hinata lowered her head upon hearing that, but Issei put his hand on her shoulder. Issei. He acts like this, but inside he is happy about your victory. Hinata. I really think so. Issei. That's right. At that point they gave the next call. I'll skip the fight since there are a lot of filler. After so many fights it was Naruko's turn where she went down to the place where Mito was already waiting for her. Myth. Well, she is the useless one in the family. Oh sorry I mean ex-family. Naruko. That's all you have to say. taking out one of her katanas. When Kushina saw them, she was surprised since it was the first time she had seen them and she knew who they belonged to. That won't help you much. Naruko didn't say anything and waited for the signal. Seconds later they started. Mito without wasting time launched several air bullets that Naruko quickly deflected them. At that she went on the attack using her sword. Mito barely made the cut but still tore his shirt a little. This bothered her and activated her chakra channels. Sending them all towards Naruko, she took out the second sword from her and began to deflect all attacks with a lot of pressure. Several were surprised by her more Kushina swordsmanship since the style she was using had been long lost. After so much evading she went on the attack, hitting Mito in the stomach with the hilt of the katana. Mito got upset because a useless woman was fighting him. Rasengan. Activating one in her hand. Then going to attack but Naruko remained calm. And when she was about to arrive she replaced herself with a log. And in her back she felt a pain as Naruko gave her a stop that sent her flying away from her. Damn, I'm going to kill you. Using the Kyuubi's chakra with two tails and moving at great speed, hitting Naruko in the face. She started making hand seals creating a wind tornado. But Mito evaded him and went on the attack, punching Naruko in the stomach who spit out a bit of blood. Hinata. Sensei, this is bad. Issei. Don't worry, she's fine. She has trained for a long time. Without stopping watching the fight. Naruko was getting up from the ground and wiped the blood off his lips. Naruko. This doesn't end here. At that he looks at Issei and he just nodded. Seeing that, she gave him a smile. And she lifted her sleeve where she had gravity seals, everyone seeing that was surprised since she was not giving her all. Taking them off, Naruko ran at great speed, punching Mito in the face. Then she began to make seals and launch air bullets, but very small ones, hitting Mito squarely. Making him scream in pain. Seconds later he emerged from the rubble with another tail and he could barely control himself. Naruko. You still don't know how to control that power. Evading every blow from Mito. Naruko. It's good that sensei taught me this. Jumping back and trying seals. Naruko. Kaiten Kakakyu no Jutsu. Throwing a large fireball hitting Mito squarely. Everyone was surprised since he could use two elements at such a young age. When the smoke cleared, Mito could be seen passed out and with several injuries. Naruko raised her fist as he won. At that Kushina jumped from where she was to see her daughter and was concerned to see her in such a state. Then she got upset and activated a chakra chain that she threw at Naruko because she hurt her daughter. Seeing that, Naruko got scared since he didn't have much energy to evade her. He could only close his eyes and wait. But he didn't feel anything at all so he opened them and there he saw Issei holding the chain. Issei. What do you think you're doing? Kushina. That useless girl hurt my daughter. Issei. She won fair and square so you have no right to do that. Kushina. Get out of the way or else. Issei. Or else what? Squeezing the chain destroying it. Kushina was going to attack him but her husband arrived and stopped her. Issei. You better not make such a fool of yourself. You don't know what I'm capable of. Minato. You have courage to be able to say that in front of me. Issei. Do you think I'm afraid of you? I don't care who she is. I defend my loved ones. At that he took Naruko in his arms and left the place. Minato just clenched his fists because he was so upset that for him, no one was challenging him, but he couldn't do anything. After that they decided to continue with the combats. Chapter 162. Naruko. I see that even though time passes, they still don't hate me. Issei. Don't pay attention to that. Naruko. But. Issei. That's life. There are people who never change even if time passes. Naruko. Tell me, Ani-chan, you've never told me where you come from. Issei. Everything in its time. Later I will tell them since they must be tired, they should go rest. Naruko. I'm fine. Hinata. Me too. Issei. It's an order. Tomorrow I will tell you who your rivals will be. They both just nodded and went home. Issei, for his part, returned to the place to find out who his next rivals will be. After a long fight the duels were decided. Just knowing, Issei left the place since he had nothing better to do. When he arrived at his house he began to read some scrolls about jutsus and other things. Thus the night passed and the next day he met with his students. Issei. Well, your Naruko will face Tamari, someone from Sunagakur, and your Hinata against Mema. They will have a month to improve and in that time we will leave the village to improve without problems. Naruko. Great. Hinata. I'm ready. Issei. First of all. She took out a large scroll from his bracelet and they both looked at it with doubt. Naruko. And that. Issei. They will make a contract. When they both heard that, they were happy. Issei just laughed a little when he saw that and then dismissed it where there were only like two names being two Uzumakas. Naruko. Sensei because his name is not there. Issei. I'm not very interested in that, really. But it would help you too a lot. Hinata. And what a creature they are. Issei. Put your names here. And then make the seals that are at the bottom of the scroll. They both nodded and bit their thumbs and formed the contract. Seconds later 2 columns of smoke appeared where a white tiger and a black one emerged. It had been a while since I was called by someone. Who are you? Naruko. My name is Naruko, it's nice to meet you. I hope we can make a contract. Hinata. My name is Hinata Hikta, I say the same thing. Both tigers looked at each other and nodded. I can tell that you are in Uzumaki because you didn't tell me your last name. Naruko. I was kicked out of my family 4 years ago. I see, I'm sorry. It's okay, we accept to be your invocations. Hinata. As far as I know. There is always a test. Yes, but we can see that they are trustworthy people. So when you need our help you already know what to do. Both. Thank you very much. The 2 tigers disappeared and Issei put the scroll away again. Issei. You know you forgot something very important. Naruko. What a thing. Issei. Know the name of your classmates. Hinata. Because of the excitement we forgot. Issei. I could tell, but oh well. Oh, get ready, we'll leave in half an hour. Without waiting for a response, they both went home. After a few minutes they were both ready and left the town. Issei. I won't lie, it will be a long training. And very difficult. Naruko. I won't give up. Hinata. Let's endure all kinds of training. Issei just smiled and they headed off. Time passed where Issei took every last drop out of both of them, barely letting them sleep since Issei wanted them to be in good shape. To his joy, neither of them gave up and they continued to get better and better. Issei gave them more scrolls to learn more jutsus, but not high-ranking ones, since they weren't ready yet. After a month they returned to the village where Naruko let out a sigh. Naruko. A little rest at last. Issei. I thought you liked to train. Naruko. Yes, but not so much, I didn't say anything because I was afraid to speak, right, Hinata. Hinata. The truth is. Issei. I see. Well, go rest until the day of the fight. Naruko. And what will you do, sensei? Issei. I'll train a little but nothing important, go. They both bowed and walked away since they didn't have much energy. Seeing that, Issei laughed a little since he made them work a lot. At that point he headed to his house. Upon reaching his destination, Issei took the Kenjutsu book and read for a long time. Issei. As time goes by, I've been here for 4 years now. I don't know what the girls thought when they found out that I'm 28 years old now. Laughing a little while saying all that. Then I changed the book to learn new jutsus. Time passed and the final phase of the tournament began. Issei. I wish you luck. The good thing is that you two are the last to fight. Naruko. I wanted to be one of the first to show my new skills with Jay. Hinata. Hahaha, I'm glad they get along so well. Issei. Well, I'll go to the benches and support them. Leaving the place. The fights began with several winners and that's when the fight between Sasuke and Gaara began. Issei looked to the sides and noticed a lot of movement. Issei. I can tell that many problems are coming. Letting out a sigh. After a long fight between both young people, Issei heard some noises until he heard an explosion. Without wasting time I went down to the battlefield. Issei. Naruko, Hinata. You go help the civilians and I'll help the old man. Naruko. But. Issei. Listen to me. They both nodded and left the place to help. Issei jumped where he landed near the other cages. Issei. Dude, what's going on here? Hiruzen. He is my old disciple Orochimaru. He is attacking us. Issei. What do you want me to do? I'll help with whatever I can. I already sent Naruko and Hinata to help the civilians, but I know what they are like. They will go after that boy named Gaara. Hiruzen. Then you go help the civilians because another village will attack us too. Besides, Minato is here and I think I've reached this point. Issei. Come on, don't talk like that, old man. Naruko will be sad. Hiruzen. He'll be fine with you. Issei gave him a hug and left since that's what he wanted. Upon arriving, Issei saw several ninjas and without wasting time he went against them, killing them with a single blow since he had no time for games. Minutes passed and Issei continued with his fight. Some of them, upon seeing Issei, were afraid of him since they had seen how he killed everyone. Why do you kill them? We give up. Issei. I can see your lies in your eyes. Taking him by the neck and killing him. At the end he continued on his way. At that he turned around and saw a large red barrier. Issei. I see your moment has arrived, old man. Thanks for everything. Looking for more enemies. After a long slaughter by Issei he noticed that the enemy was leaving the place. Issei. It's all over. At that he began to run to the place where Hiruzen was and when he arrived he saw him on the ground already lifeless. Issei just shed a tear when he saw it. Minato. What are you doing here? You don't belong in this village, better leave. Issei. No. Minato. As the leader of the village I have that right. So get out. Issei just let out a sigh and left since he didn't want to fight. While he was walking he came across his 2 slightly injured students. Issei. I noticed they didn't do very well. Naruko. Hahaha, but in the end we won. It's not cool. Issei. I can tell. Well, go highlight your homes. Hinata. What will you do, sensei? Issei. I have things to do. But first take it. Giving each one a note. Being to Naruko who gave him two. Issei. There won't be any until they are 100% okay, promise me. They both just nodded and went home. Issei. I fulfilled your last wish, old man, I gave the note to Naruko. Plus it's time for me to go on a trip too. I hope you can forgive me girls. I will return in the future. Starting to walk out to go explore. Chapter 163. About 2 days had passed and all the ninjas were focused on repairing their village and giving a funeral for the death of the former third Hokage Hiruzen. When Naruko discovered this, she became very sad and looked for Issei, but he didn't find him, which hurt her even more. Naruko and Hinata were at their corresponding training ground. Hinata. Still nothing. Naruko. No. I went to his house but nothing, I don't know where he went. Hinata. And if we open the letters he gave us? Naruko. Because of so many things that happened, I forgot. Alright. At that point they both opened it at the same time. Naruko thoughts. Naruko, if you are reading this it is because I am far from the village and the reason why I left is because I know that they can defend themselves from now on. Also, as you know, I am someone who likes to visit new places. In the future we will meet again and if you hate me I won't blame you for anything. Take care, I wish you luck. Your sensei and brother Issei. Naruko shed some tears when she read that since she was alone now. Just then she saw Hinata and she was the same way. Naruko. What will we do now? Hinata. I don't know. At that point Naruko had another letter and it was from her grandfather. Naruko. Naruko, I hope you're not sad because my loss sooner or later had to happen. You have to move forward. You know, before the Chunin exams Issei came to talk to me and he told me that he was going on a trip but he said that he will tell you at the end of them. And he would be worried about his students, so I sent for one of my disciples. Being Tsunade Senju, she loves you very much and the reason why she wasn't here with you is because she doesn't like this village. She also promised to come pick you up to take you to training. She doesn't know about your past, if you trust her you will tell her. Additionally, you can also take young Haika to your training if she wishes. I wish you luck on your journey with love, your Aji-san. Naruko didn't know what to say at the end of reading all that since his sensei had already planned to leave. That's when he saw his friend. Naruko. Hinata, as you heard, someone will come for me and well. Hinata. I'll go with you. Plus we are colleagues and friends. And I also can't be left behind. If she comes back sensei I want her to see how strong I am. Naruko. Then we just have to wait. They were about to leave until they heard a voice behind them. Tsunade. No need to wait. When they heard that voice, they both jumped and were surprised to see it. Naruko. How long have you been there? Tsunade. Since you started reading that letter. And you are ready. Hinata. Right now. Tsunade. No one knows I'm here. Since I don't want to be here. Hinata. But how am I going to go? If I disappeared just like that, everyone would look for me. Tsunade. I sent my assistant to talk to your father so there's no problem. You owe me a favor. Naruko. How long are we going to be gone? This is how I look for what is necessary. Tsunade. About 4 years old, have a lot to learn. The old man told me a lot about his abilities and well there are things to learn. His sensei taught them well. Hinata. It's a long time but I'm ready for anything. Naruko. I want to be strong to protect my loved ones. Tsunade. Good. Go home and we'll see you here so hurry up. Without wasting time, they both ran from the place. After half they were both returning. Tsunade. And his things. Naruko. They're on the scrolls. Tsunade. You know the art of sealing. Naruko. I'm only level 5 and Hinata is level 2 since she's just starting out. Tsunade. Sounds good. Not bad for her age. Well, we're leaving. Shizune is waiting for us somewhere else. She's starting to walk, she being followed by both girls. Meanwhile Issei was running in the forest since she wanted to reach a village. But then she stopped as he was surrounded by several ninjas. Give us your things and maybe you'll come out alive. Issei. I have nothing of value. So I'll go. Realizing the funny thing. Eyes attack. His companions nodded and went to attack. Issei only let out a sigh since he did not feel like fighting. But without any other option, he moved at great speed, hitting each one of them, leaving them unconscious. Leaving the leader alone. When he saw Issei he was scared and begged for his life. When he looked up Issei was no longer there as he was gone. Time flew by where both girls trained day by day in their chakra control, since that is what Tsunade made them do, since they both wanted to be medical ninjas. Tsunade was surprised since they learned quickly and Hinata told her about Issei's training. Naruko told her about his life and Tsunade was so upset that he destroyed several trees with his fists since Hiruzen had not informed him of that. Both Naruko and Hinata continued to learn jutsus from other elements as they wanted to improve more. Naruko learned new skills with her katanas and leveled up in the art of sealing. One day he was meditating like a construction worker. until he entered his mental space and saw some sewers and decided to walk until he reached a large cell. He was going to say something, but they beat him to it. Wow, the jailer finally came to me. Naruko. So you are the Kyuubi. I notice you are calmer than normal. Naruko. Well, I've known about you for a long time. Also, my Ani-chan told me that I don't have to be afraid of you. Everything has an explanation. You have an intelligent brother, not like other people. At that, Naruko sat down. Naruko. You will tell me why you attacked. Because I would do. Naruko. It's good to talk to someone, don't you think so? He was a happy Uchiha. Naruko. I see. You are a strange person to be acting so calm. Naruko. I had to learn to control myself since I have a person I admire a lot. Not that brother of yours. Naruko. That's right. He is very strong and kind. I hope to see him one day. Hey, it's true that Mema and Mito will lose all your chakras sooner or later. Obviously yes. It's mine sooner or later. I'll have it all again. Because you think you can enter your mental space until now. Naruko. I see. Tell me, do you want to be my battle partner in the future? Because I would have to help you. I don't gain anything from that. Naruko. I want to be friends. If I die, you die too. I don't die. Naruko. You'll only disappear for a while, but you'll be bored and helpless when you reappear. You're a smart brat. I thought you would be stupid. Naruko was going to say something, but they beat her to it. And don't tell me it's thanks to your brother. Naruko better not say anything. Okay, I will help you, but only in important moments. Naruko. Great and funny. Getting up and bowing. Naruko. What's your name? Kurama. Naruko. Great. Hey too. Kurama. You better go, I have to sleep. She was about to say something, but Kurama shooed her out of her mental space. When she left, she just pouted, but then she was glad to have another friend. Afterwards, she went to Tsunade, Shizune and Hinata, and she told them everything. Both of them were surprised to hear that. Meanwhile, Issei found problems everywhere she went. Where without any other option, I had to knock out some and kill others for abusing their power. Several put a reward for him, but few had the courage to go look for him since they were afraid of him. And then 4 years passed where 4 women went back to the village. Naruko. It's great that you're back with us, Abe-san. At that point, she received a blow to the head. Tsunade. Don't call me that brat. Besides, sooner or later I had to return. Naruko. I was just joking, Ka-chan. Over time, Naruko saw Tsunade as a mother that she happily accepted to be. Hinata also saw her as a mother. Naruko. Time flies, and in the end there was no news from Ani-chan. Hinata. You know what he is like. He doesn't like to sit still. Naruko. It's true, haha. Tsunade. Well, a lot of things await us when we return, so don't get into trouble and I'll talk. Naruko. Okay, Ka-chan. Hinata. It's okay, Ka-sama. After a few minutes, they arrived at the large gates of the village. Chapter 164. Upon entering the village, they signed up on the list where the 2 guards were. When they saw the 2 young women, they were surprised by their beauty. After that, the 4 of them began to walk through the village, attracting a lot of attention, one by seeing Tsunade again and the other by seeing 2 beauties. Tsunade noticed the stairs and gave them a murderous look that scared several. After a long walk, they arrived at the Hokage Tower, where they knocked on the door and were let in. As they did so, they noticed that there were more people. Minato. Lady Tsunade, who brings you here? Tsunade. I'll be brief, Minato. I'm going to the resort with these 2 girls. At that point, he sets his sights on them and was surprised to see them again. Niji. Hinata-sama had us worried since she disappeared for a long time and her father didn't say anything. She said it calmly, but inside he was surprised by her path. Hinata. I've been busy, Niji Ani-san. Tiba. Wow, what a change, now they look better. More your Naruko now that you left that old ugly orange one. Mema. Not bad. She looked at Hinata from head to toe and gave her a smile. Tsunade. With that said, they returned to duty. Minato. They disappeared for 4 years, I can't put them back, I don't know their abilities. Tsunade. Then all that's left is for them to fight. If your 2 best ninjas. Minato. Good. Mema and Niji, you will fight with them. Naruko. This will be great. Mema. So grown up, sister. Naruko. We stopped being family years ago, so don't tell me like that. Tsunade. Well, it will be tomorrow afternoon. At that, the 4 of them left the place. Heading to his new house. Naruko. Hinata, why don't you go back to your house? Hinata. I don't have anything there. Furthermore, my younger sister will be the heir of the clan. Naruko. I see. Well, it doesn't matter, we can continue together. They continued on their way until they reached their destination, where it was a large mansion. Naruko. Wow, this is great. Tsunade. Despite the time that has passed, it remains the same. Let's go, we have to find their rooms. Shizune, we will have to go to the hospital to keep ourselves busy. Shizune. Whatever Lady Tsunade says. With that, everyone entered the Senju complex. Meanwhile, a person was walking through a forest. Issei. Well, I've already explored everything I wanted, it's time to return to the village. They were good years although I'm old now ha. Continuing his way towards the village. The next day both girls were walking through the streets receiving many looks. Naruko. I don't like those perverted looks. Before they were hateful and now this. Hinata. I don't like it. Heading behind Naruko. After a few minutes of walking they arrived at the ramen stand where Naruko was very happy to eat his delicacy. After that they returned home as they had to prepare. In the afternoon both girls were at training field number 7 since the fight was going to take place there. Many of his old classmates were there since they had found out. Naruko. What a long time without seeing them. Tell me you two still love that depressed emo. Sakura. Don't tell him like that. And it's not your problem. You know. Some things happened. Naruko already knew what had happened, but he wanted to hear it from them since they were always attached to him. Issei had already arrived at the village and when he was about to enter, he heard how both guards were talking about their students' fight. Issei. This is interesting. Ahaha, I'll see your progress. Running at a great speed that neither ninja felt anything. When he reached his destination he climbed a tree and saw them in the distance. Issei. Wow, they've grown a lot in this time. They are no longer those brats that I trained years ago. Putting on a smile and seeing the fight that was about to start. Both groups were face to face until Minato started the fight. Both boys without wasting time went on the attack. Using Taijutsu. Naruko and Hinata began to make seals with their hands at high speed, one launching fireballs and the other compressed air bullets. Both boys barely avoided them. Issei. Not bad. It shows that they have been trained. Seeing how they went on the attack using Taijutsu as well and giving Naruko a kick to Mema's face that made him spit out blood. Mema. How did you become so strong? Naruko. I didn't waste my time these years. Plus my mother trained me. Going on the attack. Mema could only dodge the blows since she noticed that each blow had great force. Hinata didn't give Niji time to attack since she had him cornered. Niji. Because he didn't return home. Hinata. I don't belong there. Now I am free with a new family. Niji. He knows he can't do that. Besides, he has to marry me and his father decided it. Hinata. I like you Niji Nai-san, but as a brother and nothing more. Niji. It's not his decision. The leader and the council already decided. Hinata. Well, I'll defend myself, I'm not that girl anymore. Going on the attack, he hit her in the stomach and knocked the air out of her. Issei. Hahaha, what great strength. If they keep improving one day they will catch up with me. Putting on a big smile as he was proud of them. After several minutes both boys were tired and the girls were as if nothing had happened. Since they had used medical jutsu to heal their wounds. Mema. Damn, after this you will be mine. Naruko. Did you go crazy? Mema. You said it yourself, you no longer belong to the family and it is normal to marry within the family. Since our surname is very valuable, I must have many heirs. Naruko. Well, you'll stay alone because I wouldn't be crazy with you. Without waiting for a response, he attacked, kicking him and sending him flying away. Niji was going to attack her, but Hinata arrived and kicked him in the face, knocking him out. Several were surprised as they defeated them without much difficulty. Someone was about to say something, but they heard applause and looked everywhere until they saw a young man with long hair and a kimono in a tree with a big smile. Two people seeing him were surprised and happy since they did not expect to see him in such a situation. Issei. Not bad girls. They have become very strong. Naruko. Since when have you been there? Issei. Since the fight started. It has improved all this time. Well, see you later. Naruko, you already know where I am, you can go see me if you want. Without waiting for a response he came down from the tree and took a big leap. They saw each other and ran from the place. Since they wanted to see it. After so much running they saw Issei sitting in his usual chair. When he saw them he gave them a smile. Seconds later they both jumped on him and the three of them fell to the ground. Issei. They're already a little too big for this. Naruko. Baka, that doesn't matter, you know how long we were looking for you but nothing. Issei. Hehehe, sorry I had some problems. Hinata. The good thing is that it's fine. At that, they both got up and took a seat in two chairs that Issei already had prepared. Naruko. Before you say anything I want to know how you haven't changed at all, you look the same. Maybe you use the same jutsu as my mother. Issei. Mother. Naruko. I went to train with Hinata with Tsunade Senju and we got along well and over time I saw her as a mother. Issei. I see, I'm happy for you. And to your question, I won't lie to you. A long time ago I fought against a creature and, well, when I killed it, I had its abilities and one of them was immortality. At first I didn't even realize it, hahaha. Hinata. Sensei, you are always carefree. Issei. I'm not your sensei anymore, just call me Issei. Naruko. Because you left. Issei. You two needed to get ahead and for that you had to separate from me. But it wouldn't be that easy so that was my only option. Hinata. But. Issei. I also see that they did well. I can tell they are strong. And both have grown a lot. I'm proud of you. Stroking both their heads. They just put on a smile when they felt Issei's hand since they liked it. Naruko. Ani-chan. Issei. You're too old for that. Just tell me, Issei. Naruko. Okay. Tell me if you're here it's for something. Issei. During my trip I learned many things and well, not all of them are very good. Hinata. What's wrong? Issei. You're capturing all the Jinchurikis. An organization that I honestly forget the name of but they told me that they are very dangerous. Naruko. So. Issei. Sooner or later they will come for you. And my duty will be to protect just like Hinata. They are both my precious students. Naruko. We are strong now. Issei. I know. But they are not people you can deal with yet. So they don't get into trouble. Well, although they are already in one. Since Hinata is engaged and Naruko I have the section that she will be soon. Naruko. I know. The Hokage will make his tantrum come true. Hinata. I don't want that. Issei stood up from her seat and put his hands on both of their shoulders. Issei. I'll fix this, don't worry. You live your life as always. Now go home. Naruko. Why don't you come with us, the house is big and it would be good for you to be there. Issei. I like this place. So I'm fine. See you tomorrow. They both didn't say anything else and went home since it was late. Issei. More problems are coming but it doesn't matter, the two of them deserve to be happy. Now it's their turn. Training his cabin. Chapter 165. Issei was in his cabin drinking some tea that he had gotten on one of his trips. Issei. I like that flavor, it's unique. I had some problems but it was worth it. She continued drinking tea from her while she read a Genjutsu book. Until he heard a very familiar voice running towards him. Issei. Naruko, what brings you here? Naruko. I wanted to see it, sensei, I haven't talked to it in a while. Issei. We saw each other yesterday, you don't think it's that big of a deal. Naruko. Don't say that. Furthermore, I have known him since I was very young. Issei. Okay, and tell me why you came. Since you came running. Naruko. Oh, that's true. My mother wants to meet and wants you to go to lunch with us. Issei. I see, and when it would be. Naruko. Right now. Taking Issei's hand and wanting to carry him but just by running she fell to the ground since Issei hadn't even moved. Issei. What did you have planned? Naruko. Take you by force. But I see that my plan failed, haha. Issei. And I thought you had changed. Naruko. Yes, I did. Outing which made Issei laugh. After that he started walking. Issei. Guide me please. Naruko just nodded and they both headed off. Naruko. I mean Issei. But he did so much in this time. Issei. Nothing out of this world. Explore and make some friends. Naruko. I don't believe the truth. Issei. It hurts me that you don't believe me. I do not lie. Naruko. I kid you, I'll always believe in you. They talked a little more until they reached their destination. As he did so Naruko guided him to the living room and she left. Minutes later the three girls arrived since Izune was in the hospital. Tsunade. Nice to meet you. They told me a lot about you. Issei. I say the same, it's a pleasure. My name is Issei. And it's a pleasure to meet the strongest Kunoichi. Tsunade. Thanks for the compliment but that's already in the past. Now the two of them will be the strongest. Issei. I see. Tsunade. Come, the food is already here. Issei just nodded and with that everyone went to the table. Tsunade. The girls told me that you are very strong and that the old man made you a Jinin. Issei. We were friends. So he did me that favor. Also, I asked them to give me only Naruko and Hinata. Tsunade. Because I won't lie, at that time there were several students with potential. Issei. I already knew Naruko and I knew that she was strong and I once saw Hinata fight at the academy. But I saw how she held back. So she wanted to bring out the potential in her. Tsunade. I understand. You must have had a great teacher for you to be strong. Issei. Nobody trained me. I trained on my own from a very young age. Tsunade. I see. They continued their talk while they ate. At the end everyone was in the room having tea until Issei stood up. Naruko. Something's wrong. Issei. The truth is. Tsunade already told me about her training and effort and that's why I want to check it out. Hinata. Don't tell me what. Issei. I want them to face me. Naruko. Are you sure? Issei. Sure. I want you both to fight with me. Naruko. You underestimate us. Issei. Not at all, but you should know one thing. Never underestimate your rival. Hinata. If you wish so it will be. We can go to the training ground. Issei. Good. Both girls nodded and got up and headed off. Tsunade went too since she wanted to know what Issei was capable of. When they reached their destination they distanced themselves. Issei. One more thing. I don't want them to hold back, come for me with everything. Naruko. Okay, but don't complain afterwards. Issei just nodded. Both girls took an attack position. But when they looked into Issei's eyes they felt a chill since he was very serious. At that Tsunade gave the signal. Naruko was about to attack, but Issei hit her in the stomach, sending her flying away from her. Hinata, seeing him close to her, was surprised that she didn't have time to defend herself from the kick that Issei gave her. Tsunade's mouth was open as she saw Issei's speed, since she had never seen that. Issei. Don't tell me that's all. Naruko. So it was true that you would not have mercy on us. Issei. I don't want them to trust themselves in the future. It's better to feel defeat before and see their weak points. Hinata. Okay. Letting out a sigh and activating his Byakugan to be alert. Naruko created about 50 clones that she sent to attack. Issei for his part just started running, dispelling each clone. At the end she noticed that both girls were finishing their hand seals. Being that Hinata created a fire dragon and Naruko gave it more momentum so that Issei had no chance to escape. When he was about to give it to Issei, he just gave a clap, destroying both of their jutsu. Naruko. That's not fair. Issei. They can do better. Naruko thoughts. Kurama, lend me some of your power please. Kurama. Good. But I want you to defeat that boy. I do not like lose. Naruko just nodded and a red chakra with 2 tails came out. Issei was a little surprised to see that. Issei. I see that you can now. Naruko just smiled at him and went to attack at great speed. Issei just stood there waiting. Until Naruko appeared behind him wanting to kick him in the ribs. But Issei moved faster being behind her. Issei. It's still very slow. Giving her the kick that sent her flying to where Hinata was. She just took her in her arms. Hinata. You haven't used any jutsu as possible. Issei. Hard work. Just like you. Naruko. Hinata, we have to do something. Since we haven't even touched it. Using medical jutsu to heal from the blow. Issei. Come on, you can do it. Use everything you have on hand. Naruko just smiled and took out her 2 katanas and went to attack. Issei took his out of the bracelet and they both clashed swords. Naruko wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to have 2, but it was of no use since Issei stopped all of his attacks. With great speed Issei sent both of Naruko's swords flying. He was about to say something, but Naruko ducked and Issei stopped an arrow. Issei. Not bad Hinata. Same as your Naruko, but they still lack it. Taking Naruko by her shoulders and giving her a smile that made her nervous. At that he sent her into the air. The Anta turned her gaze to Naruko as she wanted to help her. Issei. Don't lose focus. Putting his hand on her shoulders and sending her flying too. They both just screamed as they fell. Issei. That's all. Naruko. Even if we give everything we can, we won't be able to beat you, you are stronger. Issei. If you try hard you can achieve great things. Well, this was all for today. Going to them and helping to lift them up. Tsunade. You could have killed them if you were serious. Issei. I'm always serious. Naruko. You're kidding, right? Tsunade. I would restrain you. Issei. A little, but I'm always on alert. And you too. Hinata. Someday we will reach their level. Issei. If they continue like this they will arrive soon. Naruko. Well, I'll have to train more. Issei. Naruko, come closer and raise your shirt a little, I want to see your seal. She just nodded and did everything Issei asked. He watched him for a bit and then he made some movements while facing Kurama. Issei. So you are the Kyuubi. Kurama. How did you come in? Issei. Use a trick. Tell me you're serious about helping Naruko. Kurama. Yes, I will. I never lie. Issei. I see. But if you lie to me you may regret it, since she is special to me. Kurama. I'm not afraid of you. At that Issei took a step where a large shadow of himself formed that scared Kurama a little, but he didn't show it. Issei. Okay. I will trust you and please take care of her. Approaching the cage and destroying the seal. At that she left the place. Issei. Naruko, when you have time, fix that place, it's very depressing. Tsunade. How did you do that? Issei. It wasn't that difficult. Besides. Throwing a bullshit at Naruko. Issei. Learn that and you will be able to summon the Kyuubi, of course it will be a smaller form. Naruko. Great and thank you. Issei. That way they can get along better. It's good to have allies. Well, it's all over so I'll go. Someone was about to say something, but Issei was already gone. Tsunade. How fast? Hinata. Great. I also destroyed the seal. Naruko. Issei is unique. He does things that seem so easy, but how long it must have taken to learn this. Tsunade. Only he will know more than you ask him. Well, you two go rest, I can tell you are hurt. They both just nodded since Tsunade was right. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.